thousands, anyone? Just wake up. Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up, Ethan.
I'm not gonna do a react content.
Like,
yet.
what the f is that? What are they doing? The Fortnite L dance?
She hopes that all American veterans get PTSD.
U.S. military? Who fucking who? I hope you get PTSD.
Does she live in America? Hell no, man. You don't talk shit about the troops.
Today was pretty bad, wasn't it? Really sucked for you. You were so disappointed. The betrayal of one of your closest long-term friends, huh?
Yeah, these people are beyond fucking lost, dude. Bro, I'm getting heavy like Thomas and Friends, the train engine vibes. Are you not getting that right now? I'm getting heavy like Thomas and Friends vibes, bro. They could make a new character based off of this face right here. The cheeks, the lips.
Dude,
I think you'd win.
I mean...
And I think everyone would be wanting you to win, too.
Yeah, but I have no training at all. And it's very soon, so I would...
Yeah, this ain't gonna last. Her vagina is getting drier by the second just sitting beside this guy.
I've never seen a man more pathetic. You were so scared of the debate, you got somebody else to debate him for you, and then you sit behind your screen going, oh my god, bro, oh my god! Literally jacking him off through the screen, bro. Have some shame. Wipe the white liquid off your face, dude. Yikes. Now, apparently, Hasan has been watching some of the...
I swear, man, some of y'all young niggas be taking this fucking glazing metaphors too far. Like, I mean, I talk about niggas getting glazed and shit like that, but y'all be so descriptive, like wipe that white dripping liquid off your bottom lip. It's like, goddamn, bro, we get it.
Do you think that Jews have an exclusivity agreement with like being offended or not offended by Nazi imagery?
And by the way, as a Jewish man, are you going to tell black people not to use the N-word?
Do you think this is an apt comparison?
Yes.
Yeah, Hasan the type of guy to just laugh when
That
you
was
make
a good point. That was a good point. So today we're going to be diving deep into the iDubbbz H3H3 Hasanabi beef lore that's been brewing on the internet for the past 3 years. Not personally, not very invested in all this shit. Not super tapped into these guys, but these are some pretty big names on the platform. A lot of people are paying attention to this. And so I figured now that some time has passed and the story has taken a few twists and turns, we can sit down and binge an entire series of videos documenting this whole thing from beginning to end, starting, of course, with iDubbbz here dropping the content cop and leading up to where we are today. To help us with that process, we're going to be watching a lot of more Pegasus videos, and essentially they're all more Pegasus videos. He's been documenting this drama from beginning to where it is today. Let's just dive in and see what's going on the internet. So the first video we're going to be reacting to is iDubbbz TV just destroyed his career. This video dropped about 2 weeks ago, and this is essentially how all this drama started. Let's go.
Okay, iDubbbz is back with a new content cop video. Now, if you didn't know, iDubbbz used to be one of the biggest commentary creators. He used to have this series called Content Cop, where he would make these really well thought out videos about a certain creator. And it would be this massive event on the internet. They would all get over 10 to 20 million views. And basically everybody loved the series. The skits were hilarious. iDubbbz was respected as a smart and talented guy. And generally he would call out people that were pretty controversial and oftentimes deserved the criticism, whether it be Tanamongu or Keemstar or Leafy. But that was several years ago. Since then, iDubbbz has had a massive identity crisis, and he basically just disavowed all of his old content. He basically said that, oh, I was a bad person, I shouldn't have made those videos, and he made a video talking about it, and essentially ended up losing most of his audience.
Wow.
And he basically did an entire 180. He became quote-unquote woke or whatever, and he transitioned his content to fit that ideology. And that brings us to today. iDubbbz has dropped a content cop on H3H3 Productions, someone he was actually really good friends with. If you were there like a decade ago, they did a bunch of videos in the past that were absolutely hilarious. I would say like the golden era of YouTube, but it's sad to see that they actually drifted apart. And in this video, iDubbbz essentially calls out Ethan for stuff like harassment, being a hypocrite, etc., etc. And honestly, in my opinion, both of these people have had a massive fall from grace. Both were hilarious, amazing creators, and now they're just kind of like sad train wrecks. But anyways, let's just go over this new video, see what's up, see what the internet is saying about it, starting with the description. So iDubbbz has listed a bunch of people who helped make this video, and immediately we have some of the biggest red flags I've ever seen. This is an absolute nightmare nightmare blunt rotation of dishonest people. Starting off with Hasan here, open terrorist supporter. That's a fact, by the way.
That's
Lies
crazy.
as easily as he breathes. Rich elite living in a $3 million mansion. Champagne socialist. We covered him in the past, laughing at an old man literally getting beaten and robbed, laughing at dead babies, saying stuff like it's okay for women to get SA'd as long as they're from rich colleges. Basically a bunch of like horrid stuff.
Damn, I gotta see the context that some of these statements were said in, but I'm somewhat familiar with Hasanabi. When I was going through a religious period of my life for 3 years, I was a devout Christian. And Hasanabi is one of the common targets by people on the conservative, religious, Christian side of YouTube, just because of all of the positions that he holds. And so I don't know how I would feel about Hasanabi now if I were to watch him through my new point of view that has been that's deconstructed religion and is no longer a conservative Christian kind of person. But based on those things, those statements, it seems like I still wouldn't be a supporter of Hasanabi, even though we probably agree with more things now or on more things now than I did, a few months ago or several months ago, a few years ago. So let's keep it pushing.
Then we got Denims, who was just female Hasan, someone who literally put out a bounty on someone offering $30K to her fans to go and kill them.
Listen, I'll up the number, okay? $30K to anyone who will make this dipshit disappear and make Eve's breasts bigger. Okay, you have to do both, because then it's a win-win for me. And I don't have to see that moron on my timeline anymore.
Oh my god. I might put in a police report. Yeah, this is like a felony.
Then we got Shonda Black.
Wow. So just straight up asking one of her psycho fans to murder another YouTuber because they disagree. Jeez, man. Political YouTube is fucking brain rot, dude.
Who also said they wanted to kill someone but then censored it.
Shonda Black says someone needs to kill Destiny.
Like, it would just be so easy to it would solve all of our problems. Like, we would have socialism now at this point. We would have socialism at this point if someone just went out of their way and.
Then we got Frogan, who is Hasan's head moderator.
Man, are these supposed to be the moral police of YouTube? Because a whole lot of just calling for other people to be murdered over here.
This is essentially just Hasan's goon squad here. And the last time we covered Frogan was her shaming Ludwig for donating $10,000 to Gaza while she was actively e-begging for donations on stream for her own stream to pay her rent. Meanwhile, contributing none of her own money to the issue.
Me, I donated $10,000, but I'm not going to promote it. Just don't say you donated $10,000 then. Keep your fucking money. Keep your $10,000. Keep your little chump change. Like,
then we got Noah Samson, someone who's literally being sued for blatantly lying in his videos. We've covered him before as well when he was lying about another YouTuber, completely taking him out of context. One more credit that he didn't actually put here was his wife Anissa, obviously, who has called out the commentary community in the past, had this complete unhinged meltdown, which we've covered as well. We've pretty much had experience with pretty much all these people.
Commentary YouTubers have no idea what it is to work a normal job.
You do OnlyFans. How are you possibly gonna call out anyone about not working a real job?
Dang, so iDubbbz' wife is a OnlyFans chick with short hair? What a combo.
When you sell your body online, that is irony already insane. So regardless of who actually wins this beef, we don't care. We are the real winner. It's just a bunch of people we don't like fighting each other. But yeah, sorry for the long backstory. Let's get this started.
Actually, accusing Ethan of killing his dog is maybe too far because they have mobilized such an insane harassment group.
What we do here is go back.
Okay, I gotta say, when I saw this intro, a wave of nostalgia definitely hit me. The skits in iDubbbz's previous content cops were actually pretty funny. The music is pretty iconic, and I really thought that we were gonna get something special here. But spoilers, this video is incredibly unfunny. There is no sort of like joy in it, unlike the other videos. This is a massive rant, essentially just defending his political buddies like Hasan and stuff. And if any new viewers are here, I just gotta reiterate, I am not American. I don't give a single shit about politics at all, because I know people on the internet get so obsessed with it, and it completely rots their brain and turns them into sad, pathetic individuals, kind of like iDubbbz here and his group of cronies here. And when you're
man, I dabbled. One of the last things I did before deconstructing from religion, being a conservative Christian, and one of the last things I did was dabble in the realm of politics, because it's one of those areas in entertainment that you can get away with whilst being religious, right? You see a lot of overlap between religious people and political people. And yeah, I can tell you for a fact that it is some of the most brain rotten content. It is incredibly tribalistic. People do it. You just turn off your critical thinking. You pick a team, and no matter what, your team can never do anything wrong. Everybody on the opposite side, they're wrong about everything. And they're also the spawn of Satan themselves. And, you know, it's crazy. It's crazy because the people become so extreme because they're watching these content creators who have such extreme positions, but they take extreme positions because it makes their content more sensational and more entertaining. And so they're incentivized to keep becoming more and more extreme to get more views, to get more money. That's a big thing. It is the easiest money. That's why you should never trust anything any of these political YouTubers say or do. It is fucking printing money, dude. Because it's like religion on steroids. Because at least with religion, it comes with usually some kind of moral obstacles for people to become religious. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you got to be pious, you got to be holy, you got to be better than thou, holier than thou with religion. But with politics, you can be a piece of shit. Anybody can be political. The bar for entry is on the fucking ground. You just got to pick a side and then stick with that side. That's the only rule that you must hold to as a political YouTuber, commentator, whatever, is you cannot switch teams. You must be loyal to your side and to your cause, regardless of whatever faults might be pointed out with your ideology. You cannot speak negatively about any of the faces of your side. As long as you can do that, hold to that standard of loyalty, then everything else is easy money, bro.
Entire identity surrounds that. It's just sad, man. You need to go touch grass. You need to go enjoy life, go play some games and stuff. I don't know. Also, don't ask me my opinion on random political situations from other parts of the world. I'm not a political creator. I actively avoid the news. Otherwise, what am I going to do? Just look at every depressing news in the world and start crying about that all the time? Like, I'm a goofball drama creator, all right? This is not my job, and I probably haven't done enough research to comment on those type of situations. So if you want to get those news, go to the political creators or whatever. I'm just here to call out...
Yeah, man, stay away from politics.
Stupid people in general using general common sense. So it starts off with Hasan taking over.
I watched Ethan Klein's content nuke, and I'm not going to call it context puke as I normally do because the reality of the matter is it was brilliant. Nothing was out of context. Everything was correct. I am an Islamist, fundamentalist, radical terrorist. I am a vicious anti-Semite. It's true.
Okay, so Hasan obviously being sarcastic here, but it's not really far from the truth. Like, he did openly support terrorists, call them Luffy from One Piece. That is like a fact, not an opinion, right? This entire video is iDubbbz calling out Ethan for harassing people. When Hasan's community and his group of gooners literally constantly harass people nonstop. So it's just the most hypocritical thing ever that iDubbbz is associating and defending these people and, you know, dancing with them, having a good time, and then calling out Ethan for the same thing. But yeah, now we have probably like the cringiest shit you will ever see.
Wake up, Ethan. Wake up, Ethan.
Yeah, guys, this is why I didn't react to this shit. Everyone was like, oh, you need to react to, well, not everyone, but I got a lot of comments, react to iDubbbz Content Cop. And I did. I started reacting to it, and I was like, this is the most, not only do I not care about this shit at all, whatever the fuck they're crying about, but also it was so boring and cringe and try hard and so much finger wagging and belly aching. I was like, why do people want me to react to this? I react to funny shit. I'm entertaining. You watch me for a good laugh or for some introspective thought, and trust me, we're gonna laugh, we're gonna be introspective because we're completely emotionally detached from whatever bullshit they're gonna be talking about here. But yeah, man, I couldn't get through it, and this part was the part where I started feeling the cringe, like just overload.
Ethan, wake up.
Wakey, wakey, Ethan. Wake up, Ethan. Wake up. Time to be awake, Ethan.
Wake up, Ethan.
This is no longer a dream. This is a nightmare. Wake up.
Ethan, the dumb bitch is telling you to wake up.
Wake up, Ethan. Wake up. Wake up, Ethan. Ethan, wake up. Wake up. Since anyone?
Just wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake
Wake up, Ethan.
I'm not gonna do a react content.
Like, what the fuck is that? What are they doing? The Fortnite L dance?
Guys, what the hell happened? What timeline are we actually in where I have to sit here and watch a bunch of moron streamers do Fortnite L dances? And this is supposed to be a content cop. Like, look at, like, the degradation of the quality is absolutely insane. And I feel like that quote never gets old, you know? You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. And that's definitely iDubbbz right now.
I didn't plan on making a content cop on H3. It sounds very stupid even saying that. In 2016, I would have been like, oh yeah, if I ever do that, it's gotta be because I lose the plot. Well, it turns out it's not me losing the plot, it's Ethan.
Nope, it's actually both of you. Both of you somehow did a complete 180 and became soy cringe puck content creators who abandoned your audience, the people who actually cared for you and supported you, and you turned into just this husk of your former selves. Like, you can actively see that the life has been drained out of them. But it's just sad to see someone fall so hard and so far and become this unfunny political shill who likes to pretend that they are better than everybody, you know?
So Ethan, as you know, is a content creator who has a podcast where he says all sorts of outrageous stuff. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's fucked up. Now in his podcast with Hasan, Leftovers, they would mostly talk about surface level progressive shit and make fun of right-wingers.
And you're telling me he didn't flick their dick once at least?
Oh, that's 100 shavers, you trans women. I say, oh no!
And it was mostly that until they actually had to reckon with a very serious topic. I would say that Hasan was very well equipped to talk about that topic.
Okay, so he basically says that Hasan is very well equipped to talk about this because he's talked about it in previous years as well. What he doesn't mention is that Hasan has a reputation for taking absolutely everything out of context and lying in a borderline sociopathic way about any and every detail about a situation. In my opinion, one of the most disingenuous creators to ever exist, and his popularity just indicates like the sheer decline in general intelligence for a lot of people watching streamers. In any sane society, Hasan would be in prison a long time ago, all right? He has cryptically tweeted about killing people as well, but he continues to get away with it for, we'll see how long, you know? Karma is a way of catching up to these people. But yeah, for iDubbbz to say Hasan is equipped to talk about this after seeing how he covers any situation and twists it to fit his narrative is just completely insane to me. Then iDubbbz says he wants to be neutral, but Ethan forced his hand.
Finding new people every day, basically, to get in fights with.
Of all people, this guy, Matt Lieb, Frogan and Denims and all these dipshits, and everybody thinks this guy's awesome, apparently. Even though he looks like Millhouse and dork. Denims, by the way, was the real villain of the video. Evil, hateful, fucking... And I'll say it and I'll double down on it. And people, oh no.
Since Ethan and Hasan's falling out, I've been keeping to myself mostly. I don't have many nice things to say. Maybe if Ethan's able to get some help, maybe if he stops harassing other creators, maybe if he does these things, eventually he'll find peace and we can like rekindle our friendship.
You know, I can agree with some of what iDubbbz is saying in the video, but the thing is, he comes off as such a hypocrite because all of what he's saying about Ethan applies directly to all of his buddies, including Hasan. Like, iDubbbz will say, oh my god, Ethan just goes on these harassment campaigns with these people. Meanwhile, his friends are literally threatening to kill people, putting bounties on them, dude, and you're dancing with them, doing Fortnite L dances. Like, how are you this blind? It's crazy.
Creators are actively participating in this gaslighting to make it seem like I'm fucking crazy.
I mean, I don't know what he's getting at here. Like, yeah, people are gaslighting you. A lot of people gaslit me when I apologized. That was actually like the #1 type of harassment I got, was people gaslighting me and taking my newfound woke ideology to its extreme.
Yeah, nobody needed to take your ideology to its extreme because the people you are associating with are some of the most extreme people on the internet. What iDubbbz doesn't understand is that his audience didn't gaslight him. They literally just told you the truth, that you became this absolutely unrecognizable version of your former self. You know, before you were someone who was unafraid to speak the truth, and now you're kind of doing the exact opposite. You are cowering behind a group of people who will eat you alive the second your opinion changes. It's kind of why nobody has any sympathy for H3 either, because he made his bet with Hasan. He became co-host with Hasan, and everyone warned him that Hasan was completely crazy, a radical extremist, and then Ethan had to learn the hard way. And now he has to deal with the consequences of associating with that community, dealing with that relentless harassment. And
yeah, bro, stay away from negativity in all forms. Politics... I mean, I don't need to spell it out for you. All of the various groups that you can join, that any group that demonizes other groups or other people to an extreme degree, yeah, you want to be careful with how you associate with that. That's a lot of negative energy. It's a lot of judgmentality, and it's also, you are the most embedded in the Matrix. Here's how you figure out, and I know it's cliche to talk about the Matrix, but here's how you know the deeper you are in the Matrix. The more you blame other people and external sources for the suffering in your life, the more you find yourself pointing externally for placing the blame, the responsibility, the justification for why your life sucks or why anyone else's life sucks, the deeper you are in the matrix. And so I don't need to spell out for you all the various tribes you can join that does that. So let's continue.
Is going to have to deal with the same thing the second he falls out of line. Okay, so this next part needs a little backstory. Basically, people were harassing Ethan and they called CPS on his kids, which is obviously a very messed up thing to do over an internet disagreement or whatever. And Ethan wanted people like iDubbbz to disavow this because, you know, they're friends.
If you want to hang out with those people and have no spine and not stand up for another girl that stood up for you, enjoy your new friends.
She's friends with people like Denims.
I know,
yeah. Which I'll show. Denims is actually participating in this whole Child Protective Service lie.
Yeah, and if you're friends with them, then you're saying what they're saying.
Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, where we are friends with Denims, but I would say it's the same level of friendship that we had with Ethan and Hila. It's like kind of an internet friendship. We think that she's a good person like we think Ethan and Hila are good people.
Here's a tweet by Think Before You Sleep. iDubbbz, I think Denims is a good person. Denims offers audience $30,000 to fans to kill a person she doesn't like. Defends a child thing named Keffels. Says America and the innocent civilians deserve 9/11. Says it was okay for people to call the CPS and political opponents to try and alienate them from their kids. Don't worry, the kids won't remember it. iDubbbz calling Denims a good person was wild. I checked out of this video after I heard him say 5 minutes in that Hasan viewers are politically savvy. Right. This isn't Content Cop. This is the creator of Content Cop hanging out dirty laundry with all his rich criminal friends. It's just insane to see iDubbbz take the moral high ground, saying that he's changed for the better and he's a good person now because he doesn't say slurs, but now he's best buddies with people who literally put bounties on other people who disagree with them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I just don't see how you can be my friend and also be friends with someone like that.
Well, you can't. So I already forgot about you.
I actually have a lot of friendships that are kind of that way, where it's like, you know, one of the friends doesn't fuck with the other friend, but there is someone in the middle who kind of fucks with both of them, but separately.
Yeah, this would make sense if both parties were disagreeing over a minor issue or something, but this is way more extreme. Your friends want to take away your other friend's children. How do you not realize why Ethan would be mad at this? That is completely unforgivable. It's not like guilt by association. It's more like, how the hell are you okay with this, you know? It's the same reason Trash Taste got a bunch of backlash for hanging out with Hasan and stuff, because you can't ignore the stuff he's done. It is completely radical extremism. It's like if you have Diddy on your podcast and be like, well, we're just mutual friends.
This is what I'm talking about. This aggression that you're putting out into the world. What the f do you think we're gonna do? You think I'm gonna fucking sit on my hands when you do this shit? Like, this is nasty. We had such a fair response to what you guys were going through. We don't support harassment. It's a bad thing, but it happens, and you're perpetuating it.
It happens, Ethan. It's completely normal for someone to call CPS on someone else's kids unjustifiably over a disagreement or difference in opinion. It happens, Ethan. Just deal with it. I don't know why you're complaining. It's just harassment on the internet that transitions into real life and people showing up at your door taking your kids away from you. It happens. I don't know why he's mad, guys. I think he shaved off half his brain with that haircut, dude.
Have you ever been in a comment section and found someone to argue with? It doesn't stop. It can
now everybody always gets what they deserve, and everybody always gets what they want, whether or not they realize it or not. And so, yeah, all this shit that is being said about iDubbbz and his whole band of merry men, you know, there's a lot of valid criticism to be sent in their direction, but don't ever pity anybody too much, because everybody reaps what they sow, including H3H3.
Literally go on forever if you don't want to.
Including you, including me. There is no judgment here.
Touch grass.
This man is telling someone to touch grass.
There is only learning and observation and laughing and cracking jokes, but no judgment, truly.
Buddy, you have an OnlyFans wife. Buddy, you spent months on a video collaborating with political extremists like Hasan that 99% of the world disagree with. Other than the minority of loud screeching banshees in America, not a single soul agrees with his ideology. You don't need to touch grass. You need a year-long vacation in a forest. Anyways, after this, iDubbbz basically slips and admits that he's making this video because of Hasan and his friends.
There was a way to approach this to say, like, yeah, we feel hurt by you guys not saying something. You've decided to do the extra thing and attack. Now, in fairness, I am attacking back, but I feel very insulted and I feel defensive and I feel like I am speaking up for a lot of people who have problems with you and a lot of people who have been on the receiving end of your harassment.
Okay, this is exactly what I predicted. Remember last time when we talked about Hasan? He said that if he wanted to, he could make a video on Ethan and destroy him after the content nuke, right? And I said, there's no way Hasan could ever make a good video rebuttal because he doesn't make videos. He sits on his ass on stream, eating food, reacting to other people's content. He doesn't even know how to do proper research or proper commentary. So I knew he would take some sort of a shortcut, and he basically asked iDubbbz, who has actually done plenty of research in the past, to go and make a video on Ethan. But the unfortunate thing is, iDubbbz is completely brain dead now, so it just did not work out. It's just unlucky. It's a pathetic attempt at sort of combating the content nuke, but it just didn't work at all. Then iDubbbz talks about why he never disavowed any of these people or gave his opinion about it.
There isn't a single person that I respect who would give a fuck if I publicly said that Ethan and Hila are great with their kids, Ethan and Hila didn't kill their dog, and Ethan and Hila wipe their asses or don't have giardia or whatever the prompt is. No one would care. The only person who would care is me, because I'm like, why did I tweet this out? I'm not tweeting out because I'm not your lapdog. That's why I'm not tweeting it out. I'm not saying it to my audience because I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, let me tell you the real reason iDubbbz didn't say anything. If he ever commented positively about Ethan or anything like that, he would be relentlessly harassed by denims, by Hasan, by Frogan, by his so-called friends, because these people aren't really your friends. They're only your friends for as long as you support their extremist views.
Yeah,
the second you try to change that just a little bit,
he's a part of the cult, and that's why this backfired. Ultimately, I'm already seeing the fucking writing on the wall here. I don't know what the situation is with iDubbbz. He used to be incredibly popular. I don't know what he's been up to lately. Clearly, he is in this whatever circle Hasan and all those people are in. That's where he finds himself today. And for whatever reason, he wanted some more validation. Maybe he wanted to grow his fan base. One of the best ways to do that is to show your allegiance to the cult, to the tribe, if you find yourself in a cult, in a tribe. And so he tried to make this shit to really, it was about growing his fan base. You're preaching to the choir. That's essentially all that's going on here. And so iDubbbz, he is not trying to help anybody but himself by preaching to the choir and lifting himself up in the eyes of the choir. But the reason why this fell flat is because it is coming from a place of desperation, right? It is coming from a place of him clearly wanting desperately to elevate himself in the eyes of the various tribes that worship their fucking god of, you know, hyper left extremist politics, whatever the fuck the wave Hasan is on. That's what he was trying to do here. And as I've said in the past, as we talked about countless times here, anything you do from a place of desperation, you're always going to get the opposite end result. And so I think that's what ultimately unfolded with iDubbbz.
It will turn on you just like they did to Ethan. As I said, politics rots your brain. If you want to get involved, just look at the surface level and don't pour your entire life into it. Otherwise, you're going to become unhinged and be completely depressed like iDubbbz.
He thinks I'm weak. He thinks a lot of these other creators that he's gone out of his way to attack, he thinks that they're weak, and he thinks they're a target that he can bully, he can manipulate, he can send lawsuits to. And I want him to know that we're not going to be bullied. You're being a piece of shit, and we're going to call you out.
Yeah, your friends are literally relentlessly harassing him, calling CPS on his kids, never-ending threats, and you're talking about them being bullied. You guys are actively bullying him and being like, don't bully me. It's like insane levels of hypocrisy. Now, there is one part where I actually completely agree with.
Yeah, both sides are calling this negativity upon themselves. Both sides are equally responsible.
iDubbbz?
I started to wonder if I had any idea who this guy actually is.
You made how many episodes with Hasan? Like, this guy made a fucking program with the biggest mega leftist on the platform. Now he's acting like he was tricked and he was incapable of figuring out what this guy's beliefs were. Bro, I didn't make the fucking leftist program. You did. You made fucking, what, 60 some odd episodes of this shit for hours talking to this guy? You didn't have a problem with any of it until... Oh,
that was spot on. Ethan unironically did this to himself. Everyone warned him about this. Everyone warned him Hasan was completely crazy. His community was toxic, but he didn't listen. And now he's fostered a community where he continuously gets harassed. You basically reap what you sow. And this is sadly going to happen to iDubbbz as well. He just doesn't know it.
I think something that's very important to me in bringing back Content Cop is to be fair. I think that was something that was not illustrated in previous Content Cops.
Does this guy hear himself? This has got to be satire. Ethan is a bad person, guys. Let me be fair and not mention how bad literally everyone else I credited in the description is. Anyways, next part, Ian tries to pretend he's a good guy and tells people to say nice things about Ethan, the same people who wanted his kids taken away.
I have challenged some of his most powerful haters to put down the haterade and just say something nice and charitable about him, because I think he deserves it.
I just wanted to say that I respect that you are genuinely yourself on the internet. I think a lot of other people respect you for it as well. I think that's a big reason why people were drawn to your content in the first place. I think that's a lot of the reason why your employees chose to work with you over anyone else.
H3 used to be the sports very good that I used to watch. I hope that one day gets back to what I remember. You were one of the inspirations for me to start creating content, so all this has stunk. I hope you really hear this, and I wish you the best.
I think Ethan Klein rocks a buzz cut pretty good, and I think he's got a good choice of facial hair. I think it's really cool what he did 8 years ago, fighting that frivolous lawsuit. That was pretty fucked up, and fighting it, he changed YouTube for the better. And I thought that was cool because I thought it was like, he was fighting for free speech.
Dude, if any of these people ever complimented me, I would wonder what I did wrong. These people should all hate your guts, and that's when you know you were completely right in the situation. Anyways, it ends off in the most pathetic way possible. iDubbbz just starts crying.
I also see the dynamic of Ethan and Neela. Like, it's really hard to be a couple online and see people attacking your partner, and it's like, okay, like if you come to their defense, if that doesn't always help them, right? Sometimes that makes it worse for them.
Yeah, let's start crying on camera. That'll get people on your side.
Right.
Also, I love how he pretends to have empathy for Ethan. He's like, oh my god, it must be really hard for you, Ethan. Here's a 1-hour content cop video making your life 10 times harder and multiplying the hate 10 times more. Isn't this just gaslighting? Like, I really care about you while stabbing you in the back. If 2016 iDubbbz saw what he would become, he would literally toast her bath. I'm just saying. Anyways, here's what people are saying. Since the last content cop, I've gotten 2 degrees and 3 children. I became addicted to drugs, got clean, got extremely fit in the gym, got a job, got promoted, relapsed, lost everything, and got clean again. All I'm getting from this so far is that Joji is the one who truly won. True.
Yeah.
But I remember when these guys were eating dumpster chicken together, and now we got this. How the times change. I have no one I can talk to about this, which is why I'm making this video. Basically, nobody's actually talking about any of the points in the video because people actually just don't care. They're both train wrecks here.
Yeah.
Anyways, I gotta go eat my chicken and rice.
Yeah, man. So that's the first video. We're going to now dive into the next segment in this series. Pathetic streamer finally gets what she deserves, and it's talking about this I think her name's Frogan. So let's dive into that next.
Okay, we got to talk about the Frogan situation. Basically, if you didn't know, Frogan is a failed political streamer. She gets absolutely no viewers and has to pretty much beg for donations on stream to pay her rent. Now, this is despite constantly being promoted by Twitch and other big streamers like Hasan and being offered Rising Star Awards for multiple years. Somehow, she still has no career and is completely broke. And the only reason anybody talks about her is because the stuff she says is so outrageous that everybody just wonders why she hasn't been permabanned and potentially deported. Now, recently, we've seen a clip going around of her crying, melting down on stream, and essentially just playing victim after getting backlash for the things she says. Stuff like she hopes that all American veterans get PTSD.
U.S. military? Boo fucking who? I hope you get PTSD.
Does she live in America? Hell fucking no, man. You don't talk shit about the troops.
So yeah, we're
just don't talk shit about them boys.
Gonna go over some of her clips and then
bro, you've seen that trailer for that new movie Warfare? Oh, by A24? I am going to watch that soon, bro. That shit looks so good. It's about the war in Iraq.
Look at Hasan's White Knight response somehow defending her, and then we'll look at a bunch of clips where Hasan just calls XQC racist for even criticizing Frogan for anything. So it all starts with this tweet here. Frogan cries on stream and ponders if karma is real, says that she's okay with losing her career over Ethan's bullshit because she stayed true to her morals. Over here, she's talking about the response to iDubbbz's content cop. Basically, Frogan was featured in that video, and clearly some of the hate is going towards her as well because that video is horrible. Karma will make its way. Hard to believe. I've been consistently against the war, uplifted the Palestinian people. Right off the bat, she's not against anything. She's a disgusting person who takes advantage of an ongoing war to get donations and stuff her face.
And to be quite honest, it's very hard to look at, karma will make its way. To me, it's very hard to look at it that way. I wish I had that point of view. You know what I mean? Because you see the shittiest fucking people at the top. I don't know if I believe in karma. You know what I mean?
Karma is real, for sure. If what karma is I don't believe in the universe keeping score in terms of right and wrong. Like, if you do what is considered a conventionally bad thing, something bad happens to you. And even if you look in the Bible, you'll see that there is no such thing as objective right and objective wrong. We see Jesus lying when his brothers were like, you should go to the Passover festival. And Jesus is like, I'm not going to go. And then he immediately goes. We see a woman who is praised for, lying and hiding Israelites. Point is, the universe doesn't work like that. Right and wrong. the universe just gives you more of what you are, and what you put out is what you get back. And something that a lot of people don't realize is that thoughts are things. The thoughts and feelings that they're having, these are things that they are producing and doing. And the universe is always going to return to you the frequency you put out. And so, long story short, the experiences and circumstances you find yourself in are a reflection of your subconscious and conscious mind. I mean, that's really all it comes down to. So everybody always gets what they deserve, and everyone always reaps what they sow, essentially.
Like, if I had to lose my career over this bullshit, at least I can say I was consistent in my views.
Okay, first off, what career? You have no career. You're a pathetic broke loser who sits in your room cosplaying Jabba the Hutt from Star Wars, literally eating pizzas and burgers all day, stuffing your face, begging for donations to pay your rent. You say you care about the war, but then when a big streamer like Ludwig raises awareness for the issue and donates $10,000 to the Palestinians, you tell him it's chump change and you tell him to keep his money. So you actively block donations to the Palestinians, and you have the audacity to say that you're against this war. Also,
yeah, you see that, and that just proves it's all a grift. It's all a fucking... They're just preaching to their collective choirs to get money.
Pray to God karma isn't real, because you would be burning in hell for eternity. And we'll get to your boyfriend Hasan as well.
And I have been consistently against your side, and I consistently uplifted the Palestinian people.
Are we supposed to applaud? You're against the mass murdering of innocent people? I mean, somebody get this bitch a trophy.
Others can't say that, but I can.
Who is pro-genocide? Well, actually, never mind. There are a lot of people pro-genocide, actually.
Simp for Frogan.
And I feel like such a bitch for crying, but it's just like you sit and reflect, and it's just like, what the fuck, dude? There are some days I just sit and I'm just like, I'm like, what did I do to deserve this?
Oh, you everything. Everything. We all get what we deserve in this life, man.
Okay.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
So I'm not sure what exactly is happening here, like why she's actually crying. I think she just got a bunch of messages telling her that she's a horrible human being after like the content cop video. And I mean, can you really blame them? Let's just do a quick recap of what Frogan has said, and then you guys can tell me, does she actually deserve this?
Oh, and I should say this because we talk about this principle a lot on this channel. Someone might say, and I just had this conversation with my wife recently, someone might point to children who are, who have to suffer. It's like, oh, do children get what they deserve? We also see this principle expressed in the Bible, and for those who might be new here, I am not Christian, I'm not religious, I do not believe the Bible is historically accurate, I believe the stories are all fictional for the most part. There may be some, real people that some of the characters are based off of, but it's the point of the Bible is not to take it literally. There is truth embedded in it, and I think the same would probably be true for the Quran and the Jewish religious texts and other religious texts as well. It's just that I'm most familiar with the Bible, so I appeal to the Bible. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh shit, oh right, the concept of the age of accountability. I believe that is true. I believe what it is that children are born into the reality, into the frequency that their parents occupy. And so that's why the Bible says that the sins of the father will go on to the second, third, and fourth generation. It's not because God, I don't believe in a personal God that's sitting up there keeping score and making shit happen to people, but God, the infinite universe, it always gives you more of what you have, what you believe, what you put out into the universe. Children are born to parents who are occupying a very particular frequency. They see, they learn, they absorb, they believe, they adopt the beliefs of their parents. And so they then not only suffer the consequences of the frequency that their parents occupy, so they reap the sins of the father in that sense, but also they then go on to carry on those beliefs and frequencies in their own personal lives, and therefore they are reaping the sins of the father in that sense as well. The same bullshit that happened to their parents happens to them because they're occupying the same frequency. And so just understand that when you see bad things happening to little children, I in no way believe that the children manifested it. They are unfortunately born into the frequency, the reality of their parents who are fucked up. They're occupying fucked up frequencies. And so that's what's going on there. That's what's going on there. And that's why it's called a generational curse, because it's incredibly hard to break, because most people never come into this awareness that their subconscious and conscious is actually what is shaping their reality. And they continue to point to the external things. And so their parents who are completely unconscious and don't understand this at all, they point to the people in Palestine, they blame the Jews. The Jews, they blame whoever the fuck they blame. And then they have their children, and their children see bad shit happening to them. And who did the children blame? The Jews, everybody else, et cetera, et cetera. And so you get this perpetual cycle of a group of people suffering forever. And so, yeah. And so the only time you will see a major shift is either when the collective frequency that the oppressors are occupying, that is forced to change, for whatever reason. Karma, you could say, something comes back around and it collectively changes the oppressive group in some significant way, or the collective consciousness of the oppressed changes in some significant way. And so that's what will cause that to shift.
Twitch streamer Frogan proclaims that she hopes all American soldiers die or get PTSD.
I have no pity at all for any fucking soldiers. I will never have any fucking pity for any fucking soldiers. U.S. military? Boo fucking who. I hope you get PTSD. But like any other motherfucker you're joining them, you're like, oh my god, I want my Camaro, no student loans. Fuck you. I hope you get PTSD. And I hope you get no health insurance when you get back into America. And I hope you get no health insurance when you get back into America.
Does she live in America? She better not live in America, bro. She talking crazy like this. She better not live in America. And bro talked about her getting deported initially in the video. So if she's an immigrant, listen, man, these soldiers, whether or not you agree with the wars, I of course don't agree with war, because war, just like politics, it's incredibly negative. It's just not the way. It's just not the path to true upliftment of an entire people. But it is, it is unfortunately a part of our reality currently. And so, yeah. And these people, they go with the belief that they are protecting our country, that they are keeping us safe. And there are people out there. There are people out there who do want to do harm to Americans and people who live in America. And these people stick their necks out to protect us from that. And so, yeah, man, I don't think that should be a right or a left thing. There is just no reason to attack these people, man. These soldiers.
America. And they posted it in my head. I'm like, based? Based? Like, am I supposed to be like, I'm not walking back on it. I still fucking agree with it. Base?
Yeah, what a wonderful person, honestly. Just no hate in our heart at all. I feel like this is the peak of privilege, Sitting in your comfy, safe room while other people literally die fighting to protect you, and you wish them PTSD. You wish that they just die. You wish they are denied health insurance. What an ungrateful wretch, honestly. Not to mention, she actually doubled down. In the clip we saw, that was a separate clip where she saw the previous clip, she saw what she said, she replayed it, and she said based, meaning like I stand by it, right? And she doesn't take it back. She actually means it. So you can't say that, it was just a slip up or anything like that. She had a chance to correct the record as well, but she continues choosing to be a vile person. And then she has the audacity to say, like, what did I do to deserve this?
If we get to this goal by 9/11, Capri, Raph, and I will make the Twin Towers out of a stacked cake.
Why do people hate me, guys? I want to recreate 9/11 with a birthday cake, but why do people hate me, guys? I guess this is a pretty expected take from Hasan's former head moderator, right? Hasan being the guy that literally said America deserved 9/11.
America deserved 9/11, dude. I'm saying it.
So this is just on brand for these literal goblins.
What? America deserved a 9/11. Well, unfortunately, the people who got hit with 9/11 wasn't America. It was individual people with families, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, daughters, sons. Those are the people who suffered from 9/11, not America, the corporation, the country, the government. And so what a weird take. It just goes to show that these political people, they don't actually have any empathy. They don't actually care about people. It's all a grift. They're all pretending. Yeah, it's just about spewing their ideology to the people who agree with their ideology for money.
Here, right? It's like a master and his Padawan, Hasan and Frogan, and he's been like training this little demon here. Sorry, I mean little is just not the right word there, anything but little, but I think this guy put it best.
Damn.
Uplifted, you just yap at a freaking mic all day. She's done absolutely nothing but endlessly annoy people and grandstand over oppression against other people across the globe, just like our master Hasan. F these LARPers, and this content era needs to end now. This is exactly what they're doing. They're using the war as content to get more donations for their stream. They don't give a single shit about the cause. Anyways, after seeing Frogan cry on stream, Hasan had to step in like a white knight, and basically instead of addressing any points anyone made, he just calls everybody racist for criticizing her.
The reaction to Frogan by everyone, including XQC, is so fucking gross, dude. Straight up, you're gross. That's all it is. Everybody acts like Frogan is the fucking Antichrist, okay? And it's so transparent what these fucking losers are doing. Like, you can have disagreements with Frogan if you want, but goddamn, everyone is immediately, like, their reaction is so visceral. Is so goddamn visceral. Like, give me a fucking break, dude. This shit is so fucking normalized. Like, Asmongold.
The girl who he's talking about the woman who just wished PTSD on soldiers, on people who go to war to fight for the country. Yeah, I can see why people would have a visceral reaction to that. That has nothing to do with the fact that she is, wearing a hijab.
QC. I saw some of them go fucking viral too. It's like, yeah, bro, she's hijabi. I know.
Hasan has got to be the top 10 stupidest people on the planet, I gotta say. I mean, what does a hijab have anything to do with this? Like, of course, Hasan would make it some sort of a race thing, a racist issue, or a religious thing. Like, when people are mad at her for being a vile, disgusting human being, wishing PTSD on veterans, why would you make it into a race thing? Unless, of course, you couldn't defend anything that she said. And the reason I know it's nothing to do with race is that people say the same shit to you when you say some absolutely unhinged take as well. You are equally as disgusting as her, and you ain't wearing a hijab or anything like that. So it's like, what excuse do you have when people criticize you? Are they racist too? This is just a classic Hasan Piker tactic where you just make false equivalencies when you can't actually fight on logic.
And don't even fucking for a moment act like that does not contribute to this. They will say, oh, it's because we hate her opinions. Like, no, you reacted that way specifically for a very specific purpose, bro. I hate this. I hate this shit so much. But it's not necessarily that I hate the reaction, and I think it's more so that it's so normalized to behave this way. It really grosses me out.
Yeah, we should all listen to Hasan, the moral compass of our generation.
Right.
Like, this level of complete idiocy. I don't know, like, how does this guy have a following? Is anybody else confused?
And I know people will try to fucking do the, wow, you're so ruthless for calling out the Islamophobia here and calling out the racism here. I wasn't being racist, and then fucking fight tooth and nail. But it's gross as fuck, okay? That wasn't the part I was talking about, bro. Keep watching until you bring up the content nuke to see his reaction. I don't care about Ethan's reaction. I don't want to see it anymore. I'm so pissed off.
I'm so pissed off. My queen is crying. My queen Humpty Dumpty is crying here, bro. You need to log off, dog. You need to touch grass. Like, I can't imagine having this sad of a life. Like, you're a multi-millionaire, and yet you have the saddest life ever. You stream all day to complete insane troglodytes in your chat. You're constantly stressed. You're losing your mind. Like, the second your viewership drops a little bit, you're just crashing out on every stream, crashing out on your Discord, enraged over random shit. I imagine, like, every time this guy even goes outside, he has to look over his shoulder, worried that somebody's just gonna beat him up or assassinate.
Yeah, man, that's such a terrible way to live life, but I mean, it's such easy fucking money, dude. It's such easy money.
Him or some dumb shit like that. He probably sleeps with like one eye open. That's just how many people just hate his guts, bro. And you know, sometimes I do feel bad for him. It's like, why don't you just like retire and just leave all of this like hateful shit behind, you know?
What are we doing? Like, what the fuck are we doing? How are we so goddamn cruel? You know what I mean? How is that allowed? How do other people in the community don't fucking check these people? You know what I mean? Why is that appropriate? Why is that in any way, shape, or form appropriate? Like, that's a fucking peer, okay? Yeah, I'm sorry she doesn't have fucking 30,000 live concurrent viewers. maybe then you would suck up to her and respect her.
Bro, I assure you nobody gives a single shit about your viewership. You try to bring it up at any cause because you're riding the wave of like angry political people. But if you try to stream anything else, your viewership just completely drops and you crash out. And I think what he's referring to here is XQC. Basically, like anytime Frogan like shows up on screen, his entire chat just starts laughing at her because, I mean, she is geometrically shaped. Hasan acting like he's above regular insults is crazy. This guy routinely shames people on stream. Her having a job has nothing to do with it. I swear these guys are projecting their own feelings. Nobody's saying it but them. Exactly. Then we got this conversation with Frogan. Just Hasan gaslighting as usual. People dislike Frogan because she's a terrible human being. Classic.
Right.
Here we have another terminally online Twitter user. Glad Hasan is calling this disgusting shit out. Frogan doesn't even cover politics on her stream. She's one of the kindest, most caring people. Is this satire? I've met in the Twitch plays and gets the most hate online. It's gross and we should all do more to fight it, of course. 100%. I think one of the most effed up parts of being brown is that you have this cafe. There's no way. There's no way these people are real, dude. This has got to be some like programmed NPC. Is this dead internet theory? Are these bot comments? Okay, now we got to move on to XQC's response to this because this is just gold. Basically, you know, Hasan just called him racist for just criticizing Frogan. And let's check out XQC's response and then decide, was he actually being racist or was Hasan lying out of his teeth for about the millionth time?
Let's see if we can spot the racism.
9/11 jokes, apologist would smile and laugh. Actual casual racism all the time. Legit actual racism. Like it's nothing. Okay. The I wish veterans get PTSD shit. Dude, what else? The 9/11 cake, classic. She's unlikable. She's annoying.
Go fucking viral too. It's like, yeah, bro, she's hijabi. I know. And don't even fucking for a moment act like that does not contribute to this. They will say, oh, it's because we hate her opinions. Like, no, you reacted that way specifically for a very specific purpose, bro. I hate this. I hate this shit so much. But it's not necessary.
I'm just not like that. People know this. People watch my clips all the time. People watch my show all the time. They know it's not something that I do. In fact, I even have to defend myself against if you don't like this person, you're hating because she's wearing a hijabi. Bro. Please, brother. There is so much to hate on that person. It's hard to find things to like.
I mean, XQC is completely right here. Basically, Hasan is trying to take all of the valid criticism and turn it into racism somehow. This is just a classic Hasan strat. Zero arguments, zero facts, zero logic. Just make people enraged. And obviously, these super ultra far lefties will be like, well, racist. I gotta spurg out, you know? We all know the average negative IQ Hasan Frogan fan is gonna go into XQC's chat, going to go into one of my comment sections and spam racist, when in reality, it has nothing to do with that. We're criticizing their horrible takes. I mean, imagine you said this about any other situation. Imagine like Vitaly commits a bunch of crimes in the Philippines, gets put in jail, and then people are like, well, he's only in jail because they're racist towards Russians, he's actually white, so that's just some white racism right there. Like, let's just ignore all the brain dead shit that he did, right?
Every clip I've seen of her is like atrocious. But she's unapologetically offensive, asking the world not to be offensive.
Yeah.
When you pick and choose what groups, what style that people can be offensive to, you already lost in my mind. Well, white people aren't, but these guys, but Jewish people, like, I'm not, you're just annoying. Like, you're unlikable, lady. Like, so when I see a clip, my body, I go into defensive mode. My brain tries to protect itself from its image that's being broadcasted to it. It's a defensive mechanism. I don't like her. She says something, my brain has to push decibels away so I don't intake some of the shit she says. It's off the rails. It's not hard.
When XQC is making sense, you know the world has gone absolutely crazy. Anyways, the next part, XQC points out how Hasan is literally just openly straight up racist, and then he's calling other people racist.
Calling out the racism here, I wasn't being racist, and then fucking fight tooth and...
So this is actually rich coming from this guy and everybody around that's been kind of doing the whole like dog whistle of like Jewish equals bad. But guys, hold on. What I mean by that is the people that are Zionists, but you know what I'm talking about though. You know what I'm talking about though. Guys, oh, the Jews this, the Jews that. Oh, shit. No, I meant the Jews that are Zionists that do...
Yeah. This is the bullshit that they do. They pull every time, bro. They're racist against Jewish people. They hate Jews. And then when you call them out on it, they don't specify Zionists. But then when you call them out on it, oh, we only mean the Zionists. It's like, okay, guys, sure, whatever.
And do all that. You know what I'm talking about. That don't be weird. Okay, don't give me this shit where you don't think that there's underlying hate. for Jews in general, and especially in some of these guys' chat. They know what's going on.
The thing is, it's not just Jews. It's just literally anybody. If you've seen Hasan ever talk about black people or Asian people in general, it's like, unless you're on his side, you are completely subhuman to him. It is completely ridiculous. Everything he says is just projection. It's like, let me call the other side racist so that they don't point out how I am just explicitly racist all of the time. Then he talks about Hasan bringing up views again. And by the way, this is just like a spit in the face to Frogan. It's like, you're trying to defend her, but you're also humble bragging that, oh, I got more views than you. It's like, I don't know if she's even your friend, bro.
How are we so goddamn cruel? You know what I mean?
Bro, how? Bro, says him. Yo, what? Bro, he has been incredibly cruel though. What? Bro, he has been cruel though.
Yeah, I'm sorry she doesn't have 30,000 live concurrent viewers. Maybe then you would suck up to her and respect her.
He brings up views again. It's like the only talking point. It's like the only argument. So anytime that it's back into the wall, it has to be about some view count, like schizo thing. Like every
Hasan thinks
like
your brain
every
is functional enough
goddamn
to dislike
time,
anyone
dude.
based on race or religion. He's lost the plot. Let's pray for him, chat.
Yeah, so this is the thing that Hasan constantly does. The sad thing is, his entire worldview completely revolves around views, right? So when his views even drop a little bit, which is just natural as a streamer, he completely melts down in his Discord and he starts crying to his viewers, which is why, partly, that he tries to radicalize his audience so much that he maintains that, like, cult-like following, right? And if you notice, these big streamers are so jealous and hateful of XQC all the time that XQC is doing infinitely better than him without even trying. Like, XQC got that $100 million contract, and when Hasan saw that, he was so salty, so jealous. Meanwhile, Hasan is forced into his narrow corner of radical politics, and he's forced to just give the most insane takes over and over and over, or his own audience will eat him alive. At this point, he's a hostage to his own audience, because imagine one day Hasan grows common sense, right? And he becomes a normal person. He's completely screwed. Imagine he goes up on stream and he's like, hey guys, actually, I think I was wrong about some of this stuff. Like, his fan base is so crazy. They will do everything they can to make his life miserable if he ever tries to change his stance on anything. So it's just, he's just trapped. It's completely over for him. I feel like his only option is to leave the internet forever.
Yeah, and it's not. Nobody's ever trapped. Anybody can live the life they want to live and be whoever they want to be. Anybody can accomplish anything. However, when you're this deep in the matrix, it's practically impossible. It's like religious YouTubers for the most part. They're fucking trapped, dude. Which is why you always got to be careful to put value on the words of a person who logically cannot change their position. You know what I'm saying? When you're in a tribe, when you're in a cult, you got to be wary of what the cult leaders say, what the tribe leaders say. Because ask yourself, what would it take for this person to change their mind? And what would happen to them if they did change their mind on this position? Would they lose their livelihood? Would all their friends turn their back on them? You know what I'm saying? Like, how terrible would a backlash would they get? You have to understand, most people aren't built like that to be able to like just see the truth and fucking are like, oh, this shit's fucked up, I'm out. They're not. They're scared. They're ruled by fear, and you know what I'm saying? And so you gotta be careful, man. You gotta be careful. People build their entire lives around this shit, this negativity shit, this tribalism shit. And so the leaders of that shit, they're stuck for the most part. And that's why oftentimes when people leave it, what they think their only option is to then become an anti that. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, to become an anti every video, every conversation, their entire personality and identity is now about fighting against the thing they were just preaching die hard for however many years. Why? It's not even because they hate that thing so much. I mean, there might be a part of that, but initially what I think it is they just feel trapped. They feel like they've lost so much of their lives. They've sacrificed so much of their lives to that thing, and now they have all this hatred from these people that they used to be friends and family with, and now that creates a bitterness within them, and so now they make it their life mission to be against that thing. You know what I'm saying? Most people can't just move on with their fucking lives.
Now, Frogan also went on some unhinged Twitter rant in reaction to the content cop.
And my prediction is that's exactly who Hasan is. And so, no, he won't change. He can't change.
Klein wants to defend Muslims because he's
trapped.
held accountable in the content cop for continuously being a vile person. iDubbbz has apologized, shows genuine change over the last decade, and is literally married to a Muslim woman, by the way. Yeah, he has a black friend, guys. He can't be racist. Not to mention, here she got community noted, Anissa Joma is no longer a Muslim, as confirmed in a now privated video. Obviously, I mean, she's an OnlyFans creator. That's not very fitting the profile. I don't know. If one of your self-proclaimed close friends made a YouTube video about how shitty you're being, sit back and reflect on that. Ian was so charitable to Ethan and approached it in ways most don't. Yeah, he was so charitable. He made a 1 hour long video with literally people who are trying to take his kids away. So charitable, man. The Muslim woman in question, and it's literally her naked. She literally made a video called Why I Left Islam.
Telling my dad that I'm not Muslim was probably the hardest thing that I've ever done in my whole entire life.
Wow, I'm married to it. Wow, he can't be racist, guys. He's black. Don't you understand? Like, how are you so bad? She doesn't even do the smidgen of research. My God, this is diabolical. We got pot of greed. Anyways, hopefully you're finished with your breakfast right now, or Frogan is gonna come and eat it.
Oh God.
To donate some of that money she spends on food.
Mods.
I found
Mods.
the prime button punk.
Mods.
The internet is so cold, man. So cruel. Okay, well, next up, we will dive into this video. The H3 situation just got worse.
H3H3 has responded to the content cop. Basically, if you haven't been keeping up, YouTuber iDubbbz released a content cop video criticizing Ethan from H3H3 for a bunch of things like crashing out at him. Now, iDubbbz actually left out the entire reason for H3H3's crash out, which was the fact that people falsely called CPS on his kids over an internet argument, which is completely insane. Now, H3H3 live reacted to the entire video on his podcast, but just about an hour ago, he released a separate response to iDubbbz on his main channel. So we'll be checking out this video, and warning, it's completely insane. People are literally sending H3H3 human skulls in the mail, which would pretty much make anybody crash out. So yeah, proceed with caution. This video is a bit nutty.
My good friend Ian, in his hour-long takedown, did not mention one time Child Protective Services. No mention, no explanation, no overview, nothing. A few weeks ago, Child Protective Services showed up to our house at 6 a.m. to interrogate us about an anonymous tip they got that our kids were crawling around and eating dog shit at catching diseases. Ian spends the majority of his video characterizing me like a raving lunatic who's lashing out at everyone around me with zero provocation.
Maybe if Ethan's able to get some help, maybe if he stops harassing other creators, maybe if he does these things eventually.
Yeah, I mean, getting CPS sent to your house, that's terrible, man. That's incredibly stressful, but it's also incredibly offensive to you. It's stressful because you don't know how that shit's gonna play out. I mean, whatever frequency you're occupying to manifest that kind of a reality, shit is going bad in your life anyway. And so there's a real fear there that CPS shows up and they take your kids, and that's incredibly just so fucking stressful. But it's also offensive if you know that you are a loving parent that is taking care of your children. The idea that some random stranger from the government is going to show up and possibly they're going to somehow evaluate you based off of a brief assessment of your household and decide whether or not you're fit to take care of these children that you have been taking care of for however many years. It's incredibly disrespectful, it feels like. And so I can understand becoming incredibly upset if someone does that to you.
Eventually he'll find peace, and
if you experience that,
and like rekindle our friendship.
What he doesn't say is the majority of these clips he's using are taken from this episode. Now, does he ever show the title of this episode? No, he does not. Snark called Child Protective Services on us.
So this is what I pointed out in my last video. iDubbbz never mentioned the main reason why Ethan was actually mad. He made a 1 hour content cop video and never mentioned CPS. He never mentioned that creators like Denims and Bad Empanada and all these people in Hasan and iDubbbz's little group were encouraging the harassment campaign on Ethan's kids. And to even do this is completely insane. This is like talking about Kit Kat and not mentioning chocolate. Like, it doesn't even make any sense.
Right.
And somehow it actually worked. Now, iDubbbz's content cop video has more dislikes than likes, but it still has hundreds and thousands of people who genuinely believe that iDubbbz is matured now and that he's doing the right thing when he's literally become a million times worse.
Not only does he not show the title, he doesn't explain why I'm upset, who I'm mad at, why I'm mad at them. Zero context. I am just an anonymous screaming lunatic.
There was a way to approach this to say like, yeah, we feel hurt by you guys not saying something. You've decided to do the extra thing and attack.
In this episode, the same day that CPS came to my home, I was understandably irate. This was a provocation that I had not experienced. It went into my real world, was affecting my children and my life in a way that I found extremely disturbing and an escalation that I found very unacceptable.
Of course, that is completely unacceptable. Falsely calling CPS on someone's kids over an internet argument is just another level of insane. And iDubbbz obviously knows this. Everyone in that group knows this, but they have to manipulate and gaslight their audiences. Yeah. Otherwise, nobody would actually support them. And if you give the context, you can obviously see Ethan is in the right here. And that's specifically why iDubbbz leaves it out. All of the clips he took were from that video, and he didn't even put in the title, which is obviously so disingenuous, especially from someone who does...
Yeah, man. Again, this is more of that cult shit, more of that tribalism shit. I remember this one time I was talking to this pro-Palestine YouTuber. It was on a live stream too, and they were asking me about my thoughts on Israel-Palestine, and I don't have any opinions on it. I don't have a position on it. I'm not informed on it, and I'm not invested in that conflict. However, I remember asking him, I was like, yeah, but, you know, those innocent Jewish babies and women that were slaughtered when the Palestinians, when Hamas attacked them, though, that was fucked up, right? And he couldn't agree. He couldn't say that was fucked up. Once you get to a place like that, bro, where you cannot acknowledge the fucked up shit that your side is doing, that the side your supports is doing, or actually acknowledge the fucked up shit that is being done to your opponent, even if you don't identify with, let's say you're pro-Palestine, but you don't identify with the actions of Hamas and all that, you don't support that. If you cannot acknowledge that was wrong for them to do, you know what I'm saying? Like, the people who are all in charge and pulling the strings that you identify as the enemy, the people who really have power, not a single one of them got touched. Think about that, right? Not Netanyahu, not any of the people who run the government, not anyone who's actually making any decisions. None of those people got touched by any of the attacks. It was innocent bystanders, essentially, for the most part. And you can't acknowledge that is fucked up, bro. You're lost. You're lost. You're so deep in the matrix at that point.
Content cops, which is supposed to be videos with a lot of research. But this wasn't a content cop. This was a hit piece on someone who disagreed with you. And this was a pathetic attempt at reviving your dead career before Creator Clash 3, which is another event that iDubbbz is trying to put together. And if you missed Creator Clash 2, it was basically iDubbbz trying to do a charity event with some of the biggest creators, but completely messed it up and somehow lost money on the event, which a lot of people felt like was essentially a scam.
Denims is someone he's accusing me of in his video of harassing. Let's see what Denim said about my children 3 days before CPS was called.
He lets his dogs shit all over his mansion, and he just leaves the shit on the floor, something that is probably related to the fact that his former housekeeper is suing him for a number of different reasons. So I would assume he doesn't actually have a housekeeper anymore, or perhaps he lost his extra housekeeper. So now the house is just like covered in dog shit. And he has kids, and his kids like crawl into the dog shit, and God forbid, I don't know what they do with it. I don't know if they eat it, or if it's just from like contact with it with their hands or something, but they contracted a parasite that I had previously never heard of in my life called Giardia from the dog shit that is all over his house.
Dude, how is it that like maybe once a week I look into what Ethan Klein's been up to, and every time I manage to find more and more terrible shit. Also, this is not a joking matter, by the way. It can be very severe and deadly to small children. I mean, much like many other illnesses, it's very, very, very dangerous when infants get the same sicknesses that adults get.
Yeah, so this was a complete rumor blown out of proportion by these absolute lunatics to harass Ethan and get his kids literally taken away. I mean, I don't know how anyone can support these people after they go to this level of harassment. These streamers were fear-mongering and making people feel like they had to do something. In fact, the Bad Empanada guy literally says he's the one who called CPS. Here's a short clip from Philip DeFranco explaining the situation.
Also, Ethan said the idea that his kids eat feces has been taken out of context from a story that he told around a month ago. Right, and that because he previously talked about how his dog had an infection that caused it to have diarrhea, and then their baby, who's crawling around the house all the time, also started having diarrhea. So they assumed that the baby might have caught the dog's infection, right? Not from eating the dog's poop, but from constantly touching or licking any surface that the dog and its shedding fur came into contact with. So there, you had Ethan saying that it turned out that the baby didn't actually have the same infection as the dog, just some general baby diarrhea. But that's also where the whole notion started, with Ethan adding.
And that's why they called CPS. Because my 10-month-old baby, who's just starting to eat solid food, had diarrhea.
Now, it turns out this stuff was so insane that even Hasan actually disavowed this on stream, saying that it was not okay to do. But somehow he's still friends with Denims and collaborated in that video and with all these people. So I don't even know if he actually stands by that.
Never, ever, ever. The fact that people have done that is also insane. I don't know who did it. I don't know what they did. But the notion that like I would ever entertain that is insane.
I think random people calling CPS on a content creator is insane. It's completely unacceptable.
Yeah, man, this is the price. This is the price you pay for that easy money. Now, I've already said in this video, we do not pity anyone, you know, too much. You do have to pity people because a lot of people don't realize that the situation that they find themselves in, they created it. You know what I'm saying? Especially once they're past that age of accountability. And so there is some amount of pity that is okay to, you know, give to people, but not too much, because Ethan has been cultivating this enemy in the form of the people he disagrees with for years now. And they've been going back and forth. And so all the bad shit that is happening to them, nothing is stopping Ethan from disengaging and just going back to making funny, lighthearted content that he used to with his wife. What is stopping him? His beliefs. He believes that that ship has sailed, or he is just so in love with the easy political negative money. Either or, maybe a combination of both. And that's unfortunate. So is what it is.
I assume he has nannies and maids to take care of the kids when he's working. Wasting government resources and possibly freaking out little kids of a YouTuber you don't like is gross behavior. I hope Ethan and his family are okay.
So here we have Hasan, the complete, absolute, unhinged sociopath. Even he thinks this is too far. Even he is like, okay, wait a minute, guys. Falsely calling CPS, that's a bit insane. Can we, you know, I don't know who did that. I don't support it, whatever. And yet he's collaborating with his friends Denims there. And this is the person who justified the CPS call, saying kids don't even remember trauma at that age.
Even after CPS was called, Denims attempted to justify it by claiming that it's okay because children can't be traumatized.
I want you to create any bad memory here for them. Like, they are 5 and 3. They don't understand this shit. So I told him,
create any bad memory for them. You're not forming memories at 3 years old. And
that's not true, but even more important than the individual memories you're forming at that young of an age is children may not be forming memories, but you're shaping their minds. You're shaping the way they view the world. Trauma definitely affects children as, you know, as young as they have any sense of consciousness, which is the moment they're born. Now, of course, a lot of that can be undone and you still have time. And I do believe the more conscious they become as they become older, the more significant it is. But there's a reason why they say the years between 1 and 4 years old are the most significant years of a person's life, because that is the period of time where I would say between the ages of like 1 and 6. That is a period where all of their beliefs get set, the way they view the world. Maybe not their beliefs about shit like climate change, but their foundational worldviews, how they see people, how they see themselves, how they see the world around them. That gets pretty cemented. And unless you get older and become more aware of how important these beliefs, how critical these beliefs are, and so then you put in the effort to actually unlearn some of that shit and learn some new shit that is actually empowering to you. Most people never come into contact with that knowledge, and so that what they experience and those experiences they have that shape their minds in those early years, that really does determine the course of the rest of their lives. For the most part, for most people. And so trying to play it down because you're a piece of shit that did a piece of shit thing, spreading this rumor about his family, and now you don't want to take any responsibility for the role you played in it. Yeah, that's pretty sad.
very rare that you're forming memories at 5 years old. Now, yes, you are. No, you're not. When we're talking about...
Okay, so let's say you got graped at 5 years old. That won't leave any lasting impression on you. Let's say your parents beat the shit out of you constantly. You know what I'm saying? Up until the age of 5, you don't think that will do anything? Yeah, I'm sure they would disagree with that.
About being able to remember, being able to recall memories. It's
also, then why should anyone ever call Child Protective Services on any children? You know, you thought that was a good idea. Had this rumor that you were spreading been true, you would have thought for sure they should have Child Protective Services called on them. But why? If nothing that happens to children, if nothing bad that happens to children before that age leaves an impression, who cares?
4 is the cutoff, but even if you are forming any memories at 4, you're not going to be able to remember them past like 15. You have maybe 1 or 2 memories.
The most diabolical part there was starting her IQ at 150. I hope he meant negative 150. But anyways, that is obviously untrue. You definitely do form memories at that age. Now, some people may not, or some people may forget, but a lot of people definitely do. I'm sure a lot of you guys watching have memories from that age, and you can definitely develop trauma at that age. Like something like a CPS call, raiding your home, you know, searching every...
And, you know, what's funny? The memories that you do typically hold on to from that age range are usually traumatic shit that happened to you, incredibly emotionally charged events. Now, it's possible that these kids weren't even aware of what was going on with the CPS people, and so they probably won't remember it. I'm sure if CPS showed up to my house, my kids won't remember that happened at all, because we would make sure that it wasn't, I wouldn't be flipping shit. My wife wouldn't be flipping shit. We would be very calm. It'd be no different than if the fucking plumber showed up. That would be my children's perspective. But nonetheless, it has the potential to be very traumatic.
Of it and, you know, making a mess and causing a ruckus, taking you from your parents unjustifiably, that will 100% cause trauma. Now, Denims is so completely brain dead that when she looks up the facts, right, just to check if kids actually form memories at that age, she finds something that completely contradicts what she says, and she denies what is in front of her face.
Create any bad memory for them. You're not forming memories at 3 years old, and it's very rare that you're forming memories at 5 years old. There's a wide variation across about the mean across methods, cohorts. The average age of adults' earliest memories is 3.5 years old. You're not really forming memories at 3.
You literally just read out of your mouth that the average adult starts forming memories at 3. What is happening? Her defense for sending the CPS to break up our family and to interrogate our 3- and 5-year-old is that, don't worry, kids don't remember stuff.
But what I can say is that to call CPS to harass a creator or someone...
I didn't take that into account, that the CPS people, they talk to the kids and ask them some pretty fucked up questions. A 5-year-old is definitely remembering that.
You do not like is genuinely fucking insane. It is disgusting. It is wrong. It's not just a waste of government resources. I would argue this is just a different version of trying to swat someone. And I'd want to see the people responsible for fake CPS calls punished in a similar fashion to swatting calls.
From what I understand, Philly D, like, he rarely gives his opinion here, so even he had to say something here, like, this is so wrong, right? And Denims obviously cannot be a real person. You literally read on screen that kids form memories at that age, and then you said the exact opposite. It is right in front of your face, and you can't see it. I mean, what do you even do with these people? How do you deal with this level of stupidity? The thing is, I've said this in the last video. I don't even like H3. I think his political stuff is cringe. I thought he was way funnier back in the day, but I still can't help but feel so bad for him now. Nobody deserves to deal with this level of harassment. I don't care if it's someone I like or someone I hate. This level of harassment is crazy. CPS at your door. Later he shows people sending him human skulls in the mail. I mean, what is that, a threat? Like, you're gonna, like, what is happening? Then Ethan moves on to talk about Bad Empanada, who is this completely deranged lunatic set on harassing Ethan. And some of the stuff I won't show because I don't want to get striked by YouTube or have the video taken down or whatever, but he's playing a game where he hunts down soldiers, and he's particularly looking for the secretary to shoot her in the game. And that's obviously referring to Ethan's wife, Hila. And there's also this really creepy video of him threatening Ethan.
As far as harassment campaigns go, you'd think that Ian, as someone who cares so deeply about it, would be talking about him and not me.
Where do they keep the secretaries? In here? I'm hunting for secretaries right now.
Here's Bad Empanada once again, who posted a story saying, I'm the one who called CPS on Ethan Klein. I want CPS to take his kids away because they are seriously in danger.
Wow.
Today was pretty bad, wasn't it? Really sucked for you. You were so disappointed. The betrayal of one of your closest long-term friends, huh?
Yeah, these people are beyond fucking lost, dude.
TikTok, because
so lost.
It's just a taste. This was just a small part of what we have organized for you. It's only gonna get worse. It's only gonna get worse, Mr. Klein. Every day, sit there just waiting in misery, in fear of what we have in store for you. Tick-tock goes the clock.
By the way, this bad empanada guy is so pathetic. Full-grown man, by the way. And apparently he lives in some, like, far-off place.
Look at that fucking clapped hairline, too, man.
It's like Argentina or something, so it's hard for Ethan to even sue him for some of the stuff he's saying and doing. So this guy's a complete coward, but engages in this type of harassment. And it's just shocking to me that people like iDubbbz will sort of greenlit these types of people, right? I don't know what it means for people like Hasan to say, oh, I completely disavow these people. I disagree with, you know, calling the CPS and stuff. Okay, then why are you dancing with denims in the new iDubbbz video? That's clearly a collaboration and an endorsement as well. Then Ethan calls out iDubbbz again for leaving out some important context.
I was particularly angry during this episode entitled Snark Called CPS on Us because I hold denims to be one of the primary reasons, in my opinion, why CPS was called. Another one of their friends, Froggy Tonic, had been spreading the same malicious rumor about me on Twitter for days before CPS was called as well. Now let me show you the tweets that Ian conveniently omitted. Me when my 3 kids ask me why they haven't seen me in the past 4 months. I was in my basement. How can you shun a fallen fan when they worry about their 3 kids when they can't be bothered to protect their dogs? Ethan was neglectful with his dogs. He's already been neglectful with his kids, and he will continue to be. As a child of a neglectful, bipolar, narcissistic dad, that's precisely why.
Oh my God, bro. People are so fucking weird, dude. So invested in the lives of strangers.
I worry about Ethan's kids. I explained it on the podcast, but the truth of the matter is it's all a lie. It's all wrong. The man is talking about my children. He's painting me as a terrible parent, a neglectful parent, and saying that he's, whose claim to fame as being iDubbbz's friend and former editor, is spreading malicious, damaging rumors about me that led to the CPS being called. Which, by the way, Ian does not explain one time.
It's just crazy, like some of the stuff even I didn't know, and it's crazy that Ian made that content cop leaving out all of this crucial information, and I was confused at why Ethan is mad at iDubbbz's former editor. But if you're tweeting shit like this, supporting the CPS call and stuff, of course Ethan would be crashing out. Of course he'd be mad at iDubbbz too for supporting this type of behavior and not denouncing it, and, you know, obviously being friends with these type of people. It's clear that iDubbbz is just a horrible person, and he's not a good friend. And it's so funny how he likes to pretend that he's one of the good guys. Like, he pretends like, oh, he's now gained empathy at the age of 30 or something he said in that video, and he's just like, oh, I used to be such a bad person. I used to say the N-word, guys, but now I'm a very good person. I support people who call CPS on my enemies, right? It's just insane. The gaslighting is insane.
The CPS call is central to understanding this story. You cannot tell this story without that context. And to try to tell this story without including that detail, it would be the most bad faith, cruel, gaslighting hit piece of all time. Unfortunately, that's exactly what he did.
I hope people see Ian for his true colors after this. This should honestly make you lose your career. Not that he had much of a career left. Everybody's pointing to his views like, oh, well, he actually got 5 million views. Yeah, but did you know that the video has way more dislikes than likes? Like, those are all hate watchers. And the thing is, regular viewers who don't have time to actually research this type of stuff, like, how are they supposed to know that iDubbbz was lying about all this stuff and that he left out the most important content? He keeps saying throughout the video, the full 1 hour, Ethan's crashing out, why does he hate me? Like, why is he mad at me for following people? Like, no, those are all reasons you made up. He's mad at you for the whole CPS thing going on that you didn't flip and mention. And heck, this is my job. And even then, it's hard to get the full story here because of how much these people just keep lying and omitting information. Now Ethan talks about iDubbbz jabbing at Ethan's mental health.
And by the way, to my good friend Ian of 8 years, I really appreciate you weaponizing my mental health against me.
To make Ethan crash out. He's having a parasocial weird crash out. People can have crash out moments. Maybe if Ethan's able to get some help.
Someone who I've confided in over the years with my struggles with it, who understands what I've been through, the lengths that I've gone to work on myself and improve my mental condition. For him to throw that in my face, to characterize anything I'm doing as crashing out, that I need help, that I need to get some kind of treatment, is cruel and pathetic on a level I didn't think he would ever be possible of doing.
I feel like iDubbbz should have just come out and said, I hate Ethan, instead of like pretending that he cares about him, crying at the end of the video, like, oh my God, I totally understand harassment, guys, pretending they're still good friends and saying like, oh, if Ethan apologizes now and learns the error of his ways, I will totally forgive him, like standing on his high horse or something. Like, shut the hell up, man. iDubbbz is so far beyond redemption at this point, siding with these sociopathic rejects. Like, I feel like you've just lost all sympathy at this point, and you've lost a good friend. You've thrown away away pretty much everything. Why? I couldn't tell you. I don't know if this is political brain rot. This is him getting manipulated by Anissa or something, or getting into the wrong friend group with Hasan and all these gooners.
That's one f***ed up thing that you can say about Anissa and I is when we're on Twitter, we do be following.
I'm not upset, Ian, because you follow people. That is absurd. I'm mad because you are actively engaging with these people on social media, in DMs, while this harassment is happening.
Notice, guys, the consistent theme here, though. It's all about blaming other people for everything. That's the source of all the problems, bro. In a way. That's how it oftentimes expresses itself, in blaming other people. Oh, you did this to me. You did that to me. They did that. It's like, that's why when you take supreme responsibility over your life and you understand that you always get what you deserve, you always reap what you sow, and everything that you experience is a manifestation of your subconscious and conscious mind, your life immediately starts to get better. You start to take extreme responsibility. Even when you have a conflict with another person and they do something fucked up, when you can sit back and realize to yourself, oh shit, I manifested this. I brought this into existence. I'm reaping what I sowed, probably subconsciously. I'm not saying you did it on purpose. I'm not saying you called this shit into existence consciously. Most of the things that we experience are a result of our subconscious mind, which is why it's so important to practice awareness of your, and mindfulness. That is really the key to changing your mind or changing your life in a radical way. If you are not aware of what you're thinking under the surface, you're always going to find yourself just on the back foot when it comes to life instead of being an active creator. But yeah, man, that notice the consistency of this. And so much of the downfall of your favorite YouTubers, right? When you see them change, something you can probably find consistent is they became obsessed with blaming some external force, group, people, ideology for some problem. Think about it. If you really think about it real hard, eat the rich, it's the Jews, it's the whites, it's the blacks, it's the non-traditionalists it's the OnlyFans models, it's the religious people, it's the Christians, and then, it's Satan, it's the devil, it's these people, it's that people. You could probably find at the source of all of it some shit like that. And 99.9% of them will never recover. Never. When I say never recover, I don't mean never recover their career, because some people actually made that shift and become even bigger because they find some kind of tribe or cult to preach to the choir to, and it's a bigger audience, and they get massive and wealthy. Some of these people are incredibly rich and will have that for the rest of their lives until the negativity, until karma catches up to them in some form or fashion. I think a great example of that is a guy like Bill O'Reilly, incredibly famous, super fucking wealthy, might even be a billionaire at this point. This guy has so many best-selling books. It was the face of Fox News, and had an incredibly long run. And now he is relegated to posting his podcast for free on Audible. Like, you can listen to his podcast for free on Audible and doing, My Pillow commercials. And I'm sure he's still fucking incredibly wealthy, although he had to pay out a few $100 million, I think, in various settlements, I think, allegedly. But point is, why they never go back to being the person that you fell in love with initially as a creator is because they stay trapped in that paradigm forever. And only very few can, rise above it, see through it, see past it, come out the other side, reminiscent of their old self, but wiser and better. It's a sad thing, man.
Seemingly indifferent to it, silent on it. In a sense, I felt like you were more on their side than my side.
That's completely understandable. Anyone would be mad at this. iDubbbz's brain damage do not understand that.
There's something that I've never talked about publicly, but around the same time, we received 2 human skulls in the mail at our home, which led us to having a very pleasant interview with the FBI. Things have progressed well past the point of that's just what the internet does.
This is completely unhinged. I'm glad he contacted the FBI. This is, I don't know if this is internet drama anymore. This is very real. Sending someone human skulls in the mail? What the f is wrong with people? What is human skulls even supposed to mean? That's clearly a threat of some sort, right? And then you got those creepy videos by Bad Empanada, like, weird, I don't know, man. And all of this over internet beef and brain rot politics. Now, this next part, Ethan just talks about the massive hypocrisy of iDubbbz from that one video where he just denounces content cops and saying he's changed so much as a person, only to go and make another extremely hypocritical content cop.
I think only in these past couple of years have I gained the ability, empathy, and I'm very ashamed to admit that. It sounds really pathetic to say at the age of 32, I've acquired empathy, like feel for other people's pain and suffering now.
Wow, it's just insane when you put this video side by side to the content cop he just made. I highly doubt iDubbbz has any empathy. Like, he really likes to...
Yeah, and that's ultimately what happened. He didn't change. He's still the same person. He just found a different ideology. You know what I'm saying?
Pretend he does.
He still externalizes the source of all of his suffering, right? That's it. He just changed the enemy. The only change that will really matter is if you realize that the enemy is within, right? The good, the bad, God, the devil, it's all you. It's all you. There is nothing in the external to ever become so emotionally invested in. You know what I'm saying?
But he just does not, because by associating with these people, I don't think you can say you have empathy, you know? Like, if you watch the content cop video, you would think that Ethan is just relentlessly harassing these people. But if you watch Ethan's video here, you know that he's the one who's being harassed.
In the spirit of his newfound enlightenment, he had this to say.
I have made some cruel, hurtful content, and I need to acknowledge that, and I'm really sorry that it's taken me this long to acknowledge it. The content I'm talking about specifically are content cop videos and videos where I was just generally criticizing people for very lackluster reasons and, you know, obviously didn't have any accountability online whatsoever on my end. I was morally grandstanding and acting as if I'm any better than any of these people that I was making content cop videos on, and I'm not. I'm a human, I'm a real human who makes mistakes, and, you know, I make a different set of mistakes than the people I was making videos on, but it doesn't matter. I don't think anyone deserves that level of cruelty or hate.
The level of hypocrisy, man. How do you say all that stuff about your content cops and then proceed to do something 10 times worse?
And for what did you do this? To revitalize your dying career? This entire video reeks of desperation, of being thrown together, and poorly researched. I don't really even understand why they did this, and I can't imagine that it's going to be worth it. Thanks for the 8 years of friendship, buddy. Have fun with your new friends.
Man, this was so sad to watch, being one of the people that watched their videos from 8 years ago where they're just getting along really well, genuinely funny people. That colorblindness video making fun of Logan Paul was just hilarious. And fast forward 8 years and here's where we are. I just can't believe time changes people so much, or what company. I don't know. I guess you gotta mind your company. If I ever become this brain dead, which I won't, but just slap me back.
Yeah, man. It's rough. It's rough. Well, next up, we're going to go ahead and watch another follow-up video on Frogan. Pathetic streamer desperately tries to apologize after losing.
Okay, we got a lot of...
Yeah, so losing everything.
Okay, we got a lot of updates to the whole Hasan group situation. Basically, Hasan's former head moderator, Frogan, has released a video on her YouTube channel responding to H3H3. And no joke, this might be the worst apology I've seen in a while. She talks about how her wishing death and PTSD on US veterans was actually her misspeaking on a live stream, despite literally double, triple downing on it, calling it base the next day. She talks about how empathetic she is towards H3H3 when her and a group
Man, it just goes to show these people are all full of shit, dude. I mean, so pathetic, so they don't mean any of this, guys. Do you not see that? They don't believe any of this. As soon as they see that the money is going to dry up, then they switch their position.
friends literally try to ruin his life and called CPS on his kids. We also have another pathetic streamer in Hasan's orbit named iDubbbz, who also apologized for spreading the false rumors about H3H3's kids, but then somehow makes the situation about herself and plays victim. And then as usual, we have Hasan crashing out yet again, denying that the backlash to the content cop is even real, saying that the dislikes are fake. He also defends the creepy psychopath, Bad Empanada, who simulated shooting Ethan's wife in a video game. But yeah, lots of updates, juicy episode, grab your snacks, we're gonna go over all of this one by one. Starting with Frogan's new video, Frogan's response to Ethan Klein.
I think the content cop was great. You know, I feel like Ian approached it in a way that nobody else does. He approached it with empathy, and, you know, it was supposed to make people feel bad for Ethan.
So the purpose of the content cop was for people to feel bad for Ethan. Definitely not hate his guts and harass him and his family even more. I mean, you've got to be kidding me. The entire content cop was iDubbbz literally blaming Ethan for crashing out while leaving out the entire context that your friend group literally called CPS on his kids and sent him human skulls in the mail. The content cop had zero empathy, and you people acting like you're somehow caring when you're some of the most vile people on the planet is just crazy. Now, if you guys remember, the last time we talked about her, she was crying, melting down on stream, wondering if karma is real, asking people, what did I do to deserve this? And here she continues on that point.
One of the main things, especially as content creators, people tend to dehumanize us and forget that we're living normal people just like you. So obviously, with so much pressure on the internet, both on myself, and I'm sure Ethan can relate to this too, it's fucking hell. It's hard to manage. It's hard to deal with. So
these people are living in hell. All this negativity that they are wallowing in, it is stressing them out. It is causing bad things to happen to them in their lives. The only trade-off is that the money is easy and the cult fan base is incredibly diehard.
I feel like Ian approached it in a way that was more so holding a friend accountable and in a softer way, and wanted to generate empathy for Ethan. Other people don't do that.
Yeah, I love how she talks about dehumanizing people. Meanwhile, Hasan and her group literally do this all the time. You completely dehumanize the other side so much to the point where you become utterly vile people. Hasan watches babies getting murdered and laughs and says they deserved it because they're from the other side and they're settlers. Literal babies. I mean, you gotta be a complete psychopath. And yeah, I imagine the backlash is hard to deal with when you wish US veterans PTSD and say they should all die and be denied healthcare, and then you double, triple down on it.
You gotta be so fucking crazy to get to that point where you're saying that kind of shit on the internet, man.
To recreate 9/11 with a birthday cake. I mean, I imagine it's hard to deal with the consequences of your own actions and your own words. Then she talks about her appearance in the content cop video.
I received a text asking to say something nice about Ethan, and to be honest, I thought about it long and hard because I was like, this man does not deserve anything nice from me. But I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. Maybe it'll give me some closure. So I wrote a letter to Ethan, and I read it off, and iDubbbz put it in the video, and this was Ethan's reaction to the video.
I bet you would.
I will be reading my letter off because I don't want to sound robotic. H3 used to be the sports figure that I used to watch. I hope that one day gets back to what I remember. You were one of the inspirations for me to start creating content, so all of this has stunk. I hope you really hear this, and I wish you the best.
I think. Listen, Frogan, she's so dumb that you almost can't be even mad at her. Like,
she did wish us the best in the end. It almost felt like the nicest one of them all.
I think she was the only one being genuine, actually. So I don't want to, whatever, just Frogan, just chill, okay? Just stop being an idiot and I'll stop talking about you. It's really simple math.
She's also by far the smallest creator of the bunch.
Right.
I mean, is it even like cool that he included?
Just random straight right to the ego.
Like she's just going to get more shit for being involved.
It's not cool.
And like, it's not,
he knows what like this entails.
This part made me laugh because it was very tone deaf.
Her using the word tone deaf is absolutely hilarious. Do you even hear yourself? Ethan is literally saying iDubbbz did you a disservice putting you in the video because you're going to get a lot of backlash. What Ethan is doing is showing empathy here. He's talking about how it must be hard for you to deal with because you're a small creator and you're not used to all of this backlash. And he was right. You did end up crying on stream. So he is actually showing empathy here. Meanwhile, you just said that even the little nice thing you said about Ethan in the content cop, you didn't want to say it. You actually couldn't think of a single nice thing to say. So you didn't even mean it. I mean, how hypocritical can you actually be? Then she goes complete narcissist mode, talking about how the content nuke was about her and how she's not actually irrelevant.
It was very tone deaf, and he's acting like half of his content nuke wasn't about me. Half of the content nuke, the entire ending half, was about me. So if I'm so irrelevant and so uncool to include, why the f was I in your goddamn video?
Yeah, this is some crazy narcissism. Like, as I said, the only reason people talk about...
You know, I've been trying to figure out what this woman reminds me of. And this face right here, this ain't even just like a diss or anything. Bro, I'm getting heavy, like Thomas and Friends, the train engine vibes. Are you not getting that right now? I'm getting heavy like Thomas and Friends vibes, bro. They could make a new character based off of this face right here. The cheeks, the lips, all of it. I'm not even saying that she's ugly or anything. I don't think she's ugly, you know, but I'm getting heavy choo-choo train vibes right here, bro.
As I said, the only reason, Molly, you know, just a broke, pathetic, complete loser, and people only talk about you to make fun of you. And yes, you are completely irrelevant. Like, if you noticed, the last few times I talked about her, I had to put Hasan mod in the title or just some generic word like pathetic streamer. I've never actually used her name in a title because you get no views. Nobody knows who you are.
I think it's funny that you think me being in the iDubbbz video is what's going to cause this harassment, when in reality, it's you, Ethan. You're acting like you haven't spent the last year and a half doing everything in your power to push people to bully and harass me, including weaponizing propaganda organizations such as the ADL to get me banned off Twitch because I made a joke about you not being able to say Habibi.
Oh yeah, the joke. You mean the literal racist tier list you made that ranked people from Arab to Jew? I mean, it was literally against Twitch terms of service. You obviously deserve to be banned for that. But no, guys, I'm not dehumanizing people. But Jews, though. It's so disgusting. This is the person on Twitter calling you a Nazi, by the way. The irony is insane. Then she uses the classic Hamas piker tactic and accuses Ethan of being racist.
This next section is about the double standards of Ethan's thinking. Let's get started with this clip.
Personally, though, and I've seen Hasan do this before, is he's accused me of it. He goes, "Oh, you just hate Muslims." It's like, bro, can you actually please just respond to a real argument? Like, please, bro. You know, he just, like, you can't just sweep everything away by saying that. It's just not right. I have never, they accuse me of doing it. They go, "Oh, Ethan's just targeting Arab and Muslim creators." It's like, I have never one time mentioned her hijabi or brought anyone's fucking identity into my criticism of them.
You haven't said anything about me being Muslim directly, but your ideas about Muslims are pretty obvious from what you say.
Okay, so she's popped up 2 tweets here as examples of Ethan being racist. Let's actually take a look at the tweets. So the left one here is Ethan criticizing literal terrorists. And then the second tweet is Ethan playing a game called Twitch or Terrorist, where they basically flash a quote on screen, and you have to guess if it was said by a Twitch streamer or a terrorist. And when you see quotes like "America deserved 9/11, it's kind of hard to guess if that was a Twitch streamer or a terrorist because, you know, it's so similar, which is why the game actually works in the first place. Then we get to the best part. Frogan says that she misspoke when she wished American veterans had PTSD.
The next thing I want to bring up are the double standards both Ethan and Hila have for themselves. Let's get started with this clip.
We misspoke. It didn't sound good. We immediately corrected ourselves. You know, that's how mature people do. That's how how you're supposed to handle yourself, isn't it? Like, what more do you want me to do?
I have no problem apologizing and admitting and whatever is needed when things happen.
This was in response to people bringing up how Hila said Yoav Gallant was a great guy, even though he's literally a war criminal and pro-genocide. I'm a live streamer as well. I know being live for hours and hours on end, you can misspeak, and that is exactly what happened whenever I said the thing about the US military.
Oh, that's right. She just misspoke, guys, after double, triple downing on it the next day. After she literally looked back on the clip after all of the backlash and still agreed with it.
I see what she's saying to an extent. Misspeaking is like a Freudian slip, or you said one thing but you meant another. So for instance, I might say, referring to the Bible, "Oh, you remember when John the Baptist walked on water?" What I really meant to say was, you remember when Jesus walked on water, or maybe even Peter? But, you know, I'm saying, just you're live streaming, you didn't catch it in the moment, and then you correct yourself after the fact. So to her credit, Ethan claiming that whoever that guy was, who I don't even know who that is, but apparently he's pro-genocide or whatever, you don't say, "Oh yeah, that guy's a great guy." That's not misspeaking. You are giving your opinion on a person's character. "Oh, I misspoke when I praised this person." Now, the only way it could be misspeaking is if he said the wrong name. You know what I'm saying? But no, so he said something. It was maybe, but here's the thing. You could say something about a person's character and then like kind of recalculate in your head after the fact, shortly after, and be like, "Oh, actually, wait a second. Nah, I can't say that because he did that thing and that thing and that thing." I don't know if I would characterize that as misspeaking, but okay, there is some validity to that. And so if Ethan corrected himself in that very same podcast shortly after he said it initially, then I guess, I don't know if we could call it misspeaking, but I think you can give that a pass. This chick, on the other hand, not only did she say what she said about calling that a PTSD, saying that she wishes PTSD on soldiers. Which part of that did she misspeak? Which part of that did she mean to say something else? Then she said it multiple times. Then she had a follow-up stream when she started to get a little bit of backlash and doubled down on it. It wasn't until this tsunami of hate that has came for her. Now, all of a sudden, she was misspeaking. Again, these people are all full of shit, dude. They do not mean any of it. They don't believe any of it. They don't care about any of it. It is just an ideology that they have latched onto because it's easy money. It doesn't require any critical thinking. It doesn't require, and I'm saying this is for both sides. It doesn't matter what the ideology is. Any ideology that causes you to strip the other side of all nuance and pretend like your side is all good and the other side is all bad, you know what I'm saying, and turning anything into a boogeyman and any group of people into a boogeyman. It's all bullshit, dude.
Gotta play the clip. I'm sorry.
I have no pity at all for any fucking soldiers. I will never have any fucking pity for any fucking soldiers. U.S. military? Boo fucking who?
Wow. So which part of that did she misspeak exactly?
We get PTSD. But like any other motherfucker, you're doing them. You're like, oh my god, I want my Camaro, no student loans. Fuck you. I hope you get PTSD.
Wow.
And I hope you get no health insurance when you get back into America. And I hope you get no health insurance when you get back into America. And they posted it in my head. I'm like, based? Based?
These people
like,
are crazy,
am I supposed to be?
man.
Am I supposed to be like I'm not walking back on it. I still fucking agree with it. Based?
Based? I'm not walking back on it, guys. I still agree with it. Meanwhile, now, I misspoke, guys. You know, you stream for 5 hours. You just don't know what you're saying. Also, boo-hoo, I hope you get PTSD and die. I mean, you can't make this up, guys. This is just absolute cinema. Like, how do you encounter a person this absolutely disgusting?
What a fucking Weasley little liar, dude.
Then she compares her apology to Elo's apology.
I want to explain it because people bring it up nonstop. I apologize for it right away. When Ethan made a video to address this on his Ethan Klein channel, I
Next day, I think
made
it
a
was.
quick appearance in that video just to say, I'm sorry, I misspoke. I shouldn't have called him a really good guy. Like, I don't know why I said it like that.
What more do you want from me? I did the same exact thing.
Okay, you can't be serious. So Hila immediately apologized the day after and did not double down like you did. It is completely different. If you went live the next day with actual remorse and said, I'm sorry, I didn't know what I was thinking. I was in the heat of the moment. I said something vile. I shouldn't have. I won't do it again. I don't agree with that. Then we wouldn't be here. People make mistakes all the time. It's fine. But every single...
I don't know if we wouldn't be here. People still would hold it against her, but it certainly wouldn't be as bad as it is now. Yeah, definitely that would have been better.
Action you've done to this date just doubles down on what you've said that time, and you obviously still believe it. And you routinely wish the worst on everyone you don't actually like. So, I don't know. It's just not the same at all.
And to those who are constantly defending me and having my back, I appreciate you and thank you so, so much. You know, during a time like this, it feels like the damage has been done physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially. But, you know, after a year and a half of harassment, it feels very calming that people are actually finally on my side.
Who? Are you dreaming? Who is actually on your side? This is a Hasan level delusion, bro. 99% of people are not on your side. Like, this is what I'm talking about. It's the complete echo chamber.
Bro, I promise you, anytime these people get a notification that their username was mentioned on Twitter, anytime they see someone make a video about them, their cortisol level shoots through the fucking roof, man. None of these people are going to live past 70. No, if they keep on this track, the amount of stress, they're all going to get fucking cancer, dude. And that's not me wishing it upon anybody. I'm just saying there's no way that you can just dwell in this level of stress perpetually. Now, if you have enough narcissism, that can be a buffer. If you are narcissistic enough, that can be a buffer. I don't think she is. I think she actually loathes herself. A guy like Hasan, he seems like he's narcissistic enough to where there's so much self-delusion that he probably doesn't get super stressed out by this shit. You know what I'm saying? He definitely gets stressed out by some shit, but not to the degree that, I don't know, I'm just, from this chick, I'm getting very like I care a lot vibes.
talk to are your little group of iDubbbz, Hasan, Denims, then yeah, I guess people are on your side. But if you ask any regular person on the internet or in real life, they will not like you. If they hear the things you've said, they will think you're a vile, disgusting person. And all of this damage you were talking about, oh, I've been damaged physically. Like, the only physical damage been done to yourself is when you stuff yourself every day, let's be honest. You decided to yap on the internet, and you got criticized for it. Like, how is that other people's fault? Then she says her life is now hell because of all the backlash.
It's been a nightmare for me. To Ethan, if you're watching,
yeah, see that is saying shit like that. It's been a nightmare for me. My life has been hell. She's under a lot of stress, man, and she's bringing it upon herself. No one told you to get on this fucking microphone, and no one's telling you can't get off the microphone.
For some reason, you've made my life hell. I will say that.
Yeah,
you've made my life fucking hell.
The epitome, the pinnacle of disempowerment, of weakness, of being in the matrix is blaming other people for your suffering.
But at the end of the day, what I said at the end of the content cop still stands. I wish you the best.
Yeah, Ethan, I wish you the best, but also I want your kids taken away from you, and I'm gonna lie about you at every chance. You know, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm glad your life is hell. Like, you are one of the few people that actually deserve it. This pathetic excuse for an apology is not gonna change anyone's mind. You made my life hell. I'm sorry. Aren't you associating with people who call CPS and send human skulls? You didn't even mention that once, obviously, because that would make her look bad. Ian approaches Content Cup with empathy. Ian in the Content Cup claims Ethan needs a good ass whooping. Plays the "oh brother, this guy stinks" soundbite because the Seattle guy wouldn't go along with his dumb plan to lower Ethan's apology grade. Never gives context for the CPS stream. Says that Ethan has always been a light friend. Misrepresents his arguments about the tier list. Poses with a blatant swastika sword. Weaponizes Ethan's history of mental illness. Turned a segment where he was supposed to say something nice about Ethan into a personalized therapy session where he cries on camera because people don't like his wife. Dropped the video a month after he said on the podcast he didn't want to get it.
You don't want to be this guy either. You know what I'm saying? We allow other people to go through all this work and fucking make videos like this so that we can react and dissect and observe and learn and, you know what I'm saying, apply the principles, the spiritual principles, the esoteric principles to our own lives, right? You should be picking up on the major takeaways already. Don't blame other people for your problems. Don't engage in negativity. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to seek success by pandering to a tribe or buying into some kind of ideology, because it will ultimately trap you. You don't need to do that to have anything, to be successful, to be popular, to be loved, to find people that will embrace you. You know what I'm saying? There are several that you could take away. But you don't want to be this guy either. This guy's genuinely emotionally invested in this drama and has spent his time to write these comments on, you know, on a YouTube video for likes, to try and get some likes from other people. You don't want to be this guy. This guy is just as low power, he's in the pits of hell with the creator that he's criticizing.
Involved with drama. I don't even like Ethan, but his content cut was so blatantly in bad faith and gaslighting, it baffles me anybody could have liked it after sitting down to watch it. Exactly. That's like most of our takes, honestly. I have no problem apologizing. Doesn't apologize. Anyways, we gotta move on to the Denims apology now. This is the woman who made fun of R-word victims and denied SA happening because they were Israeli, and, you know, humanizing them is not at all allowed. First, Ethan points out how Denims called his wife a baby killer.
Who literally calls my wife a baby killer.
I've literally never called your wife a baby killer.
Just to like bring her back to reality for a second.
I mean, having the queen of sub,
like, the point is, I can sit down with any one of these people in this video and have lunch with them. I wouldn't, more than like, I would never choose to do that with probably any of them. None of these people really appeal to me as people I'd want to hang out with. But I'm saying, like, I have zero emotional investment in any of this or in any of these people, because I understand that they're all just trapped in the matrix. And I used to be trapped in the matrix. You feel me? They're all trapped in this illusion. They're taking the world too seriously. They believe that life is something that is happening to them. They are all a victim of life. I'm a creator of my life. And we're all creators of our life. No one's truly a victim. Everyone's a creator of their life. But some people are blinded and they see themselves as a victim. And so, you know, I don't see any of these people. That's why Jesus says you're not supposed to hate anybody, right? And that's why when you're supposed to treat others as you would treat yourself. Why? Because we are all one. Everything that you see, everything that you experience is actually a reflection of what you are and who you are internally. Not saying that the Nazi or the racist or the sex offender is like a manifestation of you, but in some capacity, them being an active participant in your reality, whether or not you realize it or not, is a manifestation of your subconscious and conscious beliefs, where you're focusing your mind and your energy. And so once you realize that, you never get mad at the simulation. If you want something different, you got to change it. You got to plant new seeds, because you always reap what you sow.
Oh,
God,
guys,
damn, dude.
the IDF member is bringing us back to reality. Okay? The IDF member is bravely taking a break from killing unarmed children to bring us back to reality.
Now, she did
Sorry,
say children.
Terror babies. Terror babies.
No, she called them terror babies.
Sorry.
Yeah. I see you were trying to be generous there.
Yeah, so just for some context to show how deranged this is, Ethan's wife, Hila, was a secretary. She wasn't on the front lines, like gunning down people or something. She was serving mandatory military service. There's a bunch of countries in the world where if you're born there, you have to enlist in the military. Now, you don't have to actually go in on the front lines and shoot people, and that's not what Hila did. She had a desk job. She was a secretary. These people are so unhinged, they'll try to dehumanize anyone who disagrees with them and then lie about it. Now, Ethan talks about her quote-unquote apology, where she apologizes for literally lying about Ethan's kids.
Oh, well, what about the Denim's apology? She did a quote-unquote apology.
All right. Well, that's actually...
I'm obviously embarrassed by that
that
clip of me talking about poop. I obviously don't want people to watch it.
Wait, you don't like that one? What about the one of you saying children can't remember things?
Let's hear...
Okay. I've
stop
watched the
her
clip
up.
already. That's why I'm getting tricked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you're streaming it for everybody to see.
Sorry?
And it's embarrassing and it's mean-spirited. It's like, hey, man, I'm sorry. You know what?
With people complaining about me mean is rich.
I'm mean-spirited for showing you
Crazy ass day.
talking about my kids eating shit. You're the victim of that. She's the victim of watching a bad empanada video and talking about my kids eating dog shit. You're the victim.
Yeah, you don't understand, Ethan. She is the victim here. Everything is actually about her. After lying about Ethan's kids and leading to CPS being called on them, she says she's embarrassed about that clip. Oh my god, Ethan, why are you still showing the clip? We're past that. I mean, maybe don't flip and lie about people, you absolute freak. And then she doubles down again, saying that she only did it because Ethan called her the B word.
You know what? You're right. It was mean-spirited that I showed people that clip. You're right. It was.
It sounds like she's being sarcastic anyway.
But that's after you called me like a bitch fucking 20 times and like...
Oh, come on. First of all, even if I just maliciously out of nowhere called you a bitch, does that justify lying about my children eating dog shit that led to the CPS coming to my house? Are we fucking insane? Of course, I didn't call you a bitch in a vacuum. I called you that for telling Israeli survivors that they're liars.
Yeah, so if somebody swears at you, you're allowed to lie about their kids eating dog shit and have their kids taken away from them. That is a totally proportionate reaction to somebody swearing at you.
Yeah, that's gone too far, man. Spreading lies on the internet to try and hurt children is, if someone calls you a name, now, once you get to a high level of awareness, you understand that everything that happens to you is exactly what you deserve. You pick and choose very carefully what you choose to react to, what you choose to respond to. But at the very least, if you're going to react, keep shit above the belt. Attack the guy that called you a bitch. Call him every name in the book. You don't got to fabricate lies and spread rumors that could endanger his children.
Jetman, another one of Hasan's best friends right here. Just some of the most moral people on the planet, actually. And I have to ask you guys genuinely, right? After seeing all the videos I've made and just showing how completely unhinged these people are, how do they still have a following? Like, is politics really that bad where you can ignore all of this blatant, disgusting shit just because it's
it's a religion. Here's why people buy into these various religions, both the religious religions and politics and all the other various forms of cults and tribalism. It's a systemized way of blaming the external for the suffering you have in your life. That's really what it all comes down to. For the religious religions, the Abrahamic religions and others like it, it's all about, Satan. Even you're the enemy. You're your own enemy. Your own flesh is your enemy. And really, it's because of a woman. It's because of Eve, that fucking bitch. Why did she have to eat the apple? And that fucking simp beta cuck Adam that followed along with his wife, So you got to blame them. Then you blame Satan. Only person you don't blame is the person who could have stopped it all, of course, which is the big man upstairs. And then you blame other people in your life. You blame the people who don't subscribe to your ideology. All these other things. You blame demons. All these external shit is causing suffering in your life. Right. And then when it comes to politics, it's blaming the people who don't agree with you politically. Oh, these people want to pay more taxes. Oh, these people don't want to pay enough taxes. Oh, these people, they want electric cars. Oh, these people, they want to drive gas cars. This is why my life sucks. Listen, if there is anybody who lives in your country that is fucking like living a great life, then there is no excuse. There is nothing stopping you. It's just a story you're telling yourself so that you don't have to do the hard work of taking responsibility for your reality and changing it. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, you got the people at the top of the propaganda machines who are just the priests, the elders, the pastors. And I'm using those terms metaphorically here, referring to the heads of these political media empires, but also it applies to religious leaders as well. They're just raking in the fucking dough because they are the people who give you permission to blame external things for the suffering in your life. They articulate it in ways that sound profound, that sound incredibly intelligent, that make you feel better than thou, better than the other. And it gives you permission to blame others and other things for the shit you're reaping in your life. Oh, it was the boomers. It was the millennials. Oh, it's fucking Gen Z. Oh, boy.
Side, can you not have nuance and say, okay, these people may be on my side, but they're taking it way too far and I can't support this? Like, I know you guys get it and most people in my comments get it, but occasionally you'll get that one comment from that fucking psychopathic Hasan fan who's just still brainwashed in this cult. And I don't know, I guess you guys need to tell them, like, shut the hell up, I don't know.
You're right. I'm sorry for what I've done to you, but I didn't do it for no reason. I did it because of all this other stuff that you had done first.
Sorry, but that makes her sound even crazier. You don't lie about people's kids and have CPS go to their house because somebody was mean to you. Do you not see how psychotically insane, how warped and broken your brain is? Holy shit, dude.
She sounds like a little kid. You did it first.
Call me names. If you say well, you already do. You don't talk about my kids eating dog shit. Call me a bitch, call me a douche, whatever, you know what I mean? That would be the same. What a psychopath.
I mean, I gotta agree, this is psychopath behavior. No normal person actually does this, and I'm glad the internet is realizing this because I've been a day one Hasan hater and Hasan groupie hater, and I've been trying to show everybody how insane these people are, and I'm partly glad that they keep getting more unhinged day by day so regular people can see them for what they truly are, Anyways, moving on to Hasan, just denying reality in front of him, just melting down about the dislikes on the video.
Yeah, 6 million views in 5 days, by the way. What a flop this was, huh? God damn. The dislike ratio ain't good. Yeah, the dislike ratio counter is not correct. It can only make a assumption on what it is. The extension is not accurate. I think a lot of people just want to feel like it's valid to convince themselves that this is like a dud or something, and that there isn't a lot of people that are not on Ethan's side on this.
That's right. The 500K dislikes on iDubbbz's video.
So why, if this is just not reliable, then why don't all YouTube videos look like this, right? Why don't all YouTube videos look something like this? For the grand majority of videos on YouTube is like above 95% green. You know what I'm saying? So that's a horrible cope right there.
Absolutely fake. It's actually a 99% positive like ratio, guys. All the people who hate Hasan just don't exist. Fake, bots. All the videos I've made that have a 99% like ratio hating on Hasan and his group friends, yeah, they're all fake. You guys are all fake as well. Anyways, if you thought Hasan couldn't get worse, here he is defending Bad Empanada, the psychopathic creep who wanted to kill Ethan's wife in a video game.
Like, that's why he's mad. Like, Bad Empanada behaves in an insane way, just like Ethan behaves in an insane way. That's it. And you can't deal with someone giving back the same level of smoke to you. Like, he'll be like, Bad Empanada played that, the El Oxa game or whatever, the the role reversal Palestinian game.
Role reversal game has to be the top 10 most unhinged things I've ever heard. Very rational, Hasan, as always. So, you know, hypothetically, if somebody made a game specifically where they were searching for Frogan to hypothetically Minecraft pickaxe in-game, obviously, that is completely okay. That is not psychotic at all, right? I just love how Hasan has so few supporters now that he has to resort to getting help from absolute deranged lunatics like Bad Empanada. It's just funny how desperate he is at this point. Anyways, quick bonus clip of Hasan being a massive hypocrite.
I like that immediately. The first thing is like, let's remove this photo, please. Like, it's always policing content. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Policing content.
Where else have I heard that phrase?
Didn't you participate in a fucking series called Content?
I was just thinking
you want to talk to me about policing content? You fucking dipshit, dude. Look in the goddamn mirror.
Anyways, click this video or Frogan comes.
Yeah, man. One thing about Ethan, I'll say, I haven't watched much of this guy, but he seems a bit sharper. Maybe it's all that weight he lost and the meds he's on. But he's quick. He's sharp. He seems more of a man than he did in the past. You know, he went through a weird, sad, fat phase there, and but still, him being in this fucking world is still bad, and it will come back around to bite him in the ass yet again. He's on a high right now because the internet's on his side during this beef, but you cannot wade in these waters perpetually without the negativity that you're putting out in the world coming back to haunt you eventually. So still not worth it. But let's go ahead and explore the next video. We're getting close to the end now. Last half of the game here. iDubbbz just lost everything. Let's go ahead and dive into that, shall we?
Okay, we got an update to the whole iDubbbz situation. Basically, if you didn't know, iDubbbz is hosting an event called Creator Clash 3, and it's essentially a boxing event where influencers will fight each other, and the excess money goes to charity. Only problem is, it is completely failing. Their main fighter, Harley, just pulled out of the event, meaning there is no main fight. They are canceling seats left and right because nobody is attending. They're even desperately trying to invite anyone to fight on the event, like Ice Poseidon, and literally inviting their own enemies like Tectone, who has an ongoing beef with Frogan, who is a known friend of iDubbbz. And all this while Ace3 is just making fun of all of them constantly after being backstabbed. And obviously we have the usual Hasan updates where he's just crashing out over random shit. Now, if you were around a couple years ago, you probably remember the previous Creator Clash, which actually made no money. In fact, it lost $250,000, and apparently not a single cent actually went to charity. Because iDubbbz and his wife Anissa were completely incompetent at their job, and despite having very popular influencers at their event, they mismanaged the finances and ended up screwing over everyone.
We lost $250,000 on the event. Once our expenses are paid off for the event, then we can start paying the charities. Unfortunately, we didn't even reach the break-even point. Right? We're $250,000 in the red.
Now, people are also theorizing that iDubbbz made this poorly constructed content cop to increase his relevancy right before the event. But the thing is, he was so focused on backstabbing his best friend Ethan, he actually forgot to even promote the event on that video. And obviously, I'm guessing that he did not predict that the content cop would backfire so massively and completely ruin his event.
Bro, so every time we watch a new video and he throws up the like to dislike ratio, the dislikes get more and more. It's terrible.
I'm gonna go over all of the updates one by one, starting with the main fighter of the event, Harley, saying, "I'm not boxing." You gonna cancel Creator Clash 3 yet, Anissa and iDubbbz? Good call, man. We all see how seriously you take this and how hard you've worked. All of this political stuff will sadly overshadow everything. They never treated you with respect, and the convo with Nick the other night proved it. Harley, headliner from Creator Clash 3, talks about the atmosphere leading up to the event. Got people messaging me, drop out.
But I do get people messaging me that are like, you got to drop up, bro. You're gonna fucking dance monkey for people that hate you, dude. Don't even like.
When it rains, it pours. You always get more of what you have. Whomever has, to him more will be given. And iDubbbz is reaping a shitstorm that he started, and now the shitstorm is getting worse.
You know, and it ends up getting into this place. And for me, and I don't know about the other fighters, but just for me, like, I'm just kind of like, oh, cool. Man. The fun little charity fundraiser has now been attached to a decades-long bloody holy war in the Middle East. It's whatever. Cool. You know, it's not really like the fun sentiment I had So now, like, I wake up in the morning, I'm gonna go to boxing. Like, I got to think about Israel and Palestine. Like, what's going on?
So that's the thing. Harley signed up for a boxing event, not some random political war with Hasan's friends just calling him out. And with iDubbbz making this content cop, he's just made it very hard for everybody on the fight. So here we are on the Creator Clash 3 page. It's supposed to happen on June 28. I highly doubt it's actually going to happen. Here's some of the fighters here. We got Harley, the main event, which is getting canceled now, which is why they're reaching out to Tectone, who was of similar build here. We got Tubbo versus Sapnap. I don't really care about these people. Then we got these guys. We got Odd Ones Out. We got, I don't know who these are.
That's
and then this person
crazy.
is from
The Odd Ones Out. That the animator, he was gonna box. That's crazy.
History podcast, and also
That's
apparently got a
surprising.
panic attack when iDubbbz went behind their back and essentially just uploaded the content cop on Ethan, so putting them in a very awkward position, obviously. Now here's a quick overview of what's going on with the event by friend of the channel, Sensitive Society.
Tragic day for the 25 people who thought about going to Creator Clash 3, which is literally in a month and a half. For whatever reason, iDubbbz thought it would be smart to book it at this arena, right? This arena has a 21,000 people capacity. This is just unrealistic. They have removed all the upper bowl sitting, which was what I was just talking about. If I was iDubbbz or Anissa, I would be freaking the f out. Jake Paul announced his next boxing event will be the same day as iDubbbz's Creator Clash 3. I mean, look at this section, dude. $212. Is iDubbbz going to personally come over and give me a hand job for this money? I mean, iDubbbz, you gotta be realistic. No one really likes you. No one really cares about you anymore. And I think on top of that,
damn.
I think this actually had nothing to do with any drama with the content cop or anything like that. I don't think it had anything to do with it. I think it's just simply that the event wasn't really that interesting. It's basically compounding off of the lack of interest from the previous event, a reduction in people that are willing to be title card fighters, and I think all of these...
I agree and disagree. The fact that he had a guy like the Odd Ones Out in it, I mean, that guy, he has almost 20 million subscribers. He's incredibly famous. He has a Netflix show. Every YouTube video he has dropped ever in his life has gotten like 1 million video views on one of his animations would be a flop. And so just off him alone, you know, there's a lot of potential for interest, but they had other people involved in the fight as well. But energetically, iDubbbz is in a state of L. He's just in a L energetic state, energetic frequency. So I agree. Yes and no. The drama from the content cop did and didn't result in this shit flopping. They're both connected though. It's really all comes down to iDubbbz. iDubbbz is energetically in an L state. Everything he touches turns to shit, essentially, because that is the frequency in which he's occupying because of the state of his subconscious and conscious mind. And so, yeah, you know, whether or not how closely those two events are linked is irrelevant. This was always going to be the outcome. And it will continue to go in this direction.
Things happening came together and damaged the event in a way that I don't think is recoverable. I don't think Creator Clash is really going to do very well. I don't think they're going to make their money back. And I think overall it's going to be a negative.
Shout out to Sensitive. And yeah, I completely agree. They basically completely messed up the whole thing, booked a place way too big, started canceling seats left and right, panicking because nobody's showing up. And everything is just sort of going downhill. So much so that iDubbbz ended up contacting Ice Poseidon to actually fight a guy who he's never even talked to. Is iDubbbz getting desperate? With Creator Clash 3 just weeks away, Ice Poseidon reveals that he denied an offer to box iDubbbz at the event. I think he's struggling to find people to box him, if I had to guess.
I got invited to box iDubbbz in this event, this boxing event for Creator Clash, but I had to decline that because if I were to lose iDubbbz, I would be extremely embarrassed. And I'm not very good at boxing, so I was like, no, I can't do that.
You guys
Yeah, way to have some self-awareness, I suppose.
have the same stats though.
I know he has 2 losses, I have 2 losses. That's what I'm saying. If I lose to him, there's no coming back from that.
Oh yeah, wow. Who would win this? They both got such fucking negative loser energy. I'm getting more loser energy from this guy though. iDubbbz still has what seems to be some amount of, I don't know, but after all this content cop backlash, he probably took a major hit to his ego there as well. So I don't know, but this guy, he is given very heavy, like, woe is me, I'm a loser, gotta be careful, I take L so easily vibes. Yikes. She's getting turned off by it as well though.
Like a skin.
She's trying to help him out a little bit, try and say something positive, and he just completely shuts it down. No, I can't afford to lose.
Dude.
I think you'd win.
I mean,
And I think everyone would be wanting you to win too.
yeah, but I have no training at all. and it's very soon. So I would.
Yeah, this ain't gonna last. Her vagina is getting drier by the second just sitting beside this guy.
Gas out in 5 seconds, and then I'd be. I was just wondering why he asked me, because me and him have nothing to do with each other. Like I've never even spoke to him, so I don't know why he asked me to box him. Like surely he has other options.
Maybe he wants your clout.
I mean, he definitely has more clout than I do.
Damn. Oh. This guy is so the reverse glazing right now. This ain't even just like regular glazing. This is like he is shitting on himself so much it just sounds like he's glazing the other guy, but he's really just shitting on himself. Man, I would hate to be this guy. He is literally in the pits of hell right now. And she is gonna monkey branch to the first dude that, you know what I'm saying, she's just on this stream so that more lit niggas can see her and you know what I'm saying, slide in her DMs.
I don't know. I think he's struggling to find people to box him, if I had to guess, because I don't know why he would ask me.
Yeah, this is just really awkward. iDubbbz scraping the absolute bottom of the barrel to find fighters for his event, and actually getting rejected by Ice Poseidon is something I could never live down, honestly. That is like the most embarrassing thing that's probably happened. And you know the funniest thing about all of this is that there is no shot that iDubbbz and his group of friends agree with Ice Poseidon's general demeanor, controversy, politics, or just general edginess, right? And iDubbbz and his group of friends are so quick to discount anybody that sort of goes against their opinions, but suddenly when they're desperate for an event and to fill slots, they will invite literally anybody. And it's just not looking good for iCox here. And if you thought they couldn't get any more desperate, apparently they were also going to invite Tectone to the event. And if you haven't been keeping up, Tectone is a pretty big streamer who recently got banned on Twitch for calling Frogan gravitationally challenged. And despite him clearly making enemies with iDubbbz and his group of friends, iDubbbz still has to—
He got banned for calling her fat? She literally wished PTSD on soldiers. I mean, wow. Twitch is an interesting platform, huh? Man.
Crawl to him and beg him to participate. He sent him a message asking his weight, which is obviously related to the event. So here's a quick recap of the whole Tectone versus Frogan lore, and then we'll get to the messages iDubbbz sent.
The U.S. military has conducted some of the most horrific—
No, Frogan. You meant it.
U.S. military? Boof who? I hope you get PTSD.
That is a real quote. You want to tell me that's a misspeak?
Base?
The rest of the world is not going to fall for this revisionist history. You are so dead.
Honestly,
I'm skipping that part. We already kind of like covered that, and I just don't want to hear either of these people talk right now.
And you obviously get plus 10 privilege points. Get banned for that. And he gets banned for pointing out that she's Twitch obviously crazy, which is partly why I sort of stopped streaming on that website. I used to stream on it a couple of years back. And yeah, I knew this was coming. I knew their downfall was planned because they had horrible moderation back then as well. But how does she not get banned for that? And he gets banned for pointing out that she's— Twitch obviously does not enforce their TOS equally at all. You obviously get special privileges if you're part of Hasan's goon squad. And you obviously get plus 10 privilege points if you support terrorists, right? If you openly support terrorists, you're probably on the moderation team, honestly. You're probably a Twitch staff, like an employee. Now we gotta move on to H3H3 just making fun of their absolute failure, because obviously Ethan is very happy that their event is failing after his literal best friend backstabbed him. Ethan throws shots at Ian and Anissa after Harley announced his withdrawal from Creator Clash 3. Maybe Tectone will join the card. And here we have H3H3. How's that content cop working out for you guys? Maybe Tectone will join the card. And then we got a post just highlighting his tweet. Tectone already said no, but I'm sure Hasan is a supportive pal and will jump in. Obviously, Hasan, you should join this event.
Hasan is never gonna fucking box anybody, man.
Give your friend's charity event. Yeah, I'm sure it will be a complete success with Hasan in the ring. Now, people are pointing out that iDubbbz might have to refund absolutely everybody as well. With Harley dropping out of Creator Clash, anyone is now entitled to a full refund, which they were previously refusing. Florida rules, it seems, upon the postponement, substitution of either participant, or cancellation of the main event, or the entire program of matches. The promoter shall refund the full purchase price of a ticket to each person presenting a ticket for a refund within 30 days after the scheduled date.
So he about to lose even more money. Because, guys, you have to understand, the money that was coming in, the tickets that were being purchased, they were using that money to pay for— they've already paid people. You know what I'm saying? Like, leading up to this event taking place, they've already paid people. Everyone down to the dudes who designed the promotional graphics, to all the behind the scenes shit, to— you got to put down a deposit at the very least if you're going to rent out a stadium like that. That money is gone. And so, to then have to give back every single dollar that has been given to you in the form of ticket sales, I would not be surprised if this is going to send them significantly in the red. You know, hopefully for iDubbbz's sake, he had investors. And so the only people who will lose money are the investors. And, you know, they're rich as fuck. Excuse me. Definitely, though, this will be the last time iDubbbz ever has a chance to do anything like this.
The event. Within 10 days after the expiration of the 30-day period, the promoter shall pay all unclaimed ticket receipts to the commission. This is absolutely wonderful news because this means that iDubbbz is absolutely going broke, bro. He has literally lost everything. Here's what people are saying. Ethan has been stacking so many W's lately. The content comp destroyed Ian more than it did Ethan.
Yo.
That's what I was saying from the very beginning when I got all those idiots in my comment section. Oh, actually, this was a good content comp. I told you it was a complete disaster.
Yo.
And that's exactly what's happening.
This is why Jesus says turn the other cheek. It's not because Jesus wants you to be a pussy. It's because when you pour that negative energy into the external, you're essentially telling the universe, yeah, I'd like to order some more of this, please. I would like to order some more of this pain and suffering, please. And so that's what's going on here. You cannot fight fire with fire. And so Ian, iDubbbz, poured his energy into this shit, this negativity shit, and then it came back to hurt him in an even more significant way. That's why, for any content creators listening to this, the best, I think Mr. Beast set the perfect example. He was going through all his drama a few months ago. What did he do? He did not respond beyond what was absolutely necessary. And those responses came in the form of text, pictures of texts, like statements put out on Twitter and Instagram. No videos, no audio, nothing. He just kept posting. He hired his people on his team to hide comments, hide users, and then kept fucking pushing, dude. Why? Because, I don't know, maybe Mr. Beast has tapped into the esoteric and the spiritual. He understands how power works. I wouldn't be surprised. He has to understand it on some level to be the most successful YouTuber in the world for such a long time and to get through bad situations like that and continue to be on top. Or maybe you know, this was all intuitive. A lot of people who are very successful don't understand this stuff explicitly. It's more instinctual. Some people just get shit instinctually, the way how some people can just pick up a guitar and learn it quickly, and some people gotta get, you know, a lot of lessons just to play at an amateur level. And so who knows what's going on, but point is, he set the perfect example. Don't respond. Do never put energy into anything that you don't want more of. Never put energy into anything that you don't want more of. That is the key. That is the number one way to guarantee that it will die. Now, it is possible to put energy into something and then you destroy it, right? Like going to war and winning the battle. That is possible. But you know what I'm saying? It's a gamble. It's a gamble. Just make sure shit is going good in your life, man. If you're going to go to war, make sure you're getting W's in other areas. Make sure you feel really fucking good. Never make a decision, never do things from a position where you feel bad. If you feel really good, usually you can trust your instincts, your intuition, whatever your instincts or intuitions or your compulsions are when you're in a state where you feel really good, really confident, really powerful, those are always good. And so if you're in a state like that mentally and you feel like putting your foot on a nigga's neck, then go ahead. You're probably going to win and you probably will crush him into oblivion. But if you feel, you know what I'm saying, if you're in a negative state, or if you're not sure, you're kind of 50-50, the best thing to do is just let it go, bro.
It's ruining his life, essentially. Refunds imply people actually bought tickets. Now, apparently iDubbbz's Discord is also melting down. iDubbbz's Discord mod says that they're not discussing Creator Clash at this time after the shocking Harley Morenstein withdrawal. More info to come. Is Harley off Creator Clash for real? He was my favorite fighter. We're not discussing Creator Clash at this time. More info to come, actually. But I'll tell you what the more info is. The event is canceled. The event will be canceled because they won't be able to raise any money for charity. Nobody's going to be fighting. Nobody's going to be attending. This is wonderful, guys. Obviously, I support money going to charity, right? But the thing is, Ian and Anissa are so incompetent that whatever event they put on has been historically shown to not generate any money for charity, has been historically shown to be a complete flop and a complete, essentially just false promises, right? So I would rather their event fail and somebody more competent actually puts on something and raises money for charity. For example, CDog VA and Chris Broad always put on this cyclothon, which raises a ton of money for the Immune Deficiency Foundation or the IDF. And I think they raised like $1 million. So there's clearly people out there who are much more competent to handle this stuff. And just because I want their event to fail doesn't mean that I want charity to fail as a whole, obviously. Now, Ethan's also been posting some absolutely golden clips regarding iDubbbz and Anissa because they have gone back on pretty much everything they've ever said. In this clip, iDubbbz basically says that he would literally neck himself, then get involved in the drama.
I'd love to hear your thoughts. No, I'm not going to give you our thoughts on the H3 content nuke. I refuse.
Let me put it this way. We're very busy.
And yeah, if we let any of that enter our fucking lives, we kill ourselves.
Yeah, they did.
Ooh, yeah, that one just did not age well at all. And honestly, yeah, obviously I don't wish them any harm or whatever. I just think they should take some time off the internet and just go touch grass. You don't need to be online. You don't need to involve yourself with all these degenerate freaks that are just going to make you depressed. And you called it. You would be severely depressed and, want to neck yourself if you got involved in all of this drama. And you should just not, man. You should just go live life, be happy, Mudahar commented, man, Creator Clash 3 might end up being the most poorly handled YouTuber event. And that's saying something. Now we got to move on to the Hasan updates. Here he is crashing out again because he said $300 shoes are very affordable and somebody called him out for being out of touch.
I hate this conversation because for a boot that you can wear forever, $300 is perfectly permissible as a price point. Stop fucking doing this bullshit. Stop doing this fucking bullshit in the chat where you're like, dude, I'm not actually signing off from my mommy's Connecticut McMansion. I'm actually literally living in a fucking pile of trash right now. How dare you say that? How dare you demonstrate bourgeois decadence?
Yeah, now I kind of understand why he was defending Pokimane when she said eat the rich, right? As if they aren't like worth $10-20 million. Dude, I can't imagine this existence.
I mean, he's not wrong though. $300 is a pretty reasonable price for a very high quality boot that's going to last you a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you either pay now or pay later. $300 is a pretty reasonable price for a boot that will last you if you take care of it for the rest of your life. So I would agree with that. But the thing is, he already has established this image of being this out of touch, rich, hypocritical person. So he can't talk about anything financial without catching smoke for it.
Just imagine just streaming 10 hours a day and constantly just getting triggered by your chat just like mauling because you keep saying stupid shit. Hasan defending North Korea feels like a new low. There's no way. This person says, I'm actually so tired of white people. North Korea is actually a beautiful socialist country with free housing and healthcare that's been battling U.S. imperialism for decades. How does he defend this? Ironic, since DPRK is, as a matter of historical fact, a direct victim of the U.S. imperialism. So while this person has a rose-colored view, she's still closer to reality on that acknowledgement alone than every single American who thinks they pull trains that eat rat shit for breakfast.
Yeah, how about you go and listen to literally any interviews by people who have escaped North Korea? This guy's out of touch. That's an understatement. But that's that video. We are almost at the end here, guys. Next, we're going to watch Pathetic Twitch Streamer is Losing Everything. This one is going to be about Hasanabi, clearly. So let's go ahead and dive into that.
Okay, lots of updates to the whole Hasan Piker situation. So he starts by defending his mod Frogan yet again, saying she is the biggest victim of all of this drama.
U.S. military Boo fucking who? I hope you get PTSD.
He's also been planning a debate with H3H3, but he's so scared of losing to Ethan, he keeps coming up with excuses to dodge the debate, saying that Ethan will somehow bring Destiny onto his stream to get him banned. Then we have Asmongold's reaction, Destiny's reaction. Ethan also responded saying he's not going to do that. Also, apparently Hasan has been watching our videos and losing his mind over slop tubers. We got some more updates on iDubbbz and Creator Clash 3 with even more fighters dropping out. So let's just go over all this one by one, laugh at everybody's downfall while eating some delicious peanut butter. It's a good day. Let me know what you're having. Okay, let's start with this tweet. Hasan defends Frogan from the hate online, implies that she is the ultimate victim. Also compares her and Ethan's feud to Israel-Palestine.
But not you're trying to make because I get frustrated when everybody's like trying to defend her so much. It's like she's the ultimate victim of online harassment.
She is she has been victimized in infinitely worse ways than Ethan could ever imagine. Ethan is so not victimized that he has to invent ways of being victimized to create drama surrounding it. And the reality is, when Ethan creates drama around his own personal victimization, people actually tune in. That actually works for him. Frogan, on the other hand, is constantly and consistently fucking smeared by the most bad faith, most rabid, sociopathic figures online. Okay? God, it is so funny. It is so funny how, like, Israel coded this is, you know? Constantly on the defense, constantly self-victimizing, constantly escalating, and being an infinitely more powerful figure in the conflict. In terms of the propaganda aspect of it all, it just, like, it literally is the same shit that Israel does. So frustrating.
Right, so Hasan once again making the war about himself and somehow comparing a war to a feud between two people online. Also, to say that Ethan didn't get victimized here is completely insane. Your friends literally called CPS on his kids, call his wife a baby killer constantly, sent him human skulls in the mail, but apparently no, Ethan is not being harassed. The real person being harassed is obviously Frogan, just the caricature of niceness and good values.
Base?
She wasn't put at risk of losing her children. She doesn't even have anything that's important to lose. Are you telling me that a Big Mac is not important? Come on. All she'd lose by quitting streaming is the attacks because no one here values her words or feelings or wishes. Bad faith. Wanting veterans to suffer with PTSD makes Jabba the worst type of person. I'm sorry. They literally went to war so she could sit in a chair and eat Doritos. Yeah, Hasan is so delusional, it's actually insane. Here's Muda saying, these psychos willingly smear anyone that slightly disagrees with them with the most vile shit. When pushed back slightly, it's always playing the victim. If you want to deal shit to everyone, be willing to take it or log off. Here's what Tectone's saying. This is the person that got banned from Twitch for calling Frogan atomically extensive. I'd like to remind everyone that anyone who slightly criticizes Denim's Hasan or Frogan will be smeared to oblivion. Not petty insults like large. They'll sling around criminal-like terminology like it's nothing. They'll get their entire communities to label you as a criminal in an attempt to ruin your life, going in on the most bad faith arguments and any false allegations they can in order to completely character assassinate the opposition. Cry bullying at its finest. To be honest, they deserve more hate. I mean, I gotta agree. I mean, sure, some people are calling our names and stuff, but like the stuff you guys do is completely insane. You take it to real life. You take it to people's children. You support terrorists. Like, you guys are way worse. Now, moving on to the H3H3 versus Hasan debate. Hasan is currently freaking out because he thinks that Ethan is going to bring Destiny or Dan Saltman on.
That was his big smoking gun. Or maybe he was going to try to bring Dan Saltman on or Destiny on in the hopes that I get banned, which I will, by the way. If Dan Saltman or Destiny appears on Friday when we have this conversation, if Ethan is still willing and able to do it, I will get banned. He knows that, which is precisely the reason why I assume he will try to bring them forward, just as I called this initially, just as I called what was going to take place in this conversation initially. I'm telling you right now, if he tries to
super cope,
oh my God, Sam Cedar me, what a fucking nightmare with like a person that has been banned, I won't be able to have this conversation with him. I will have to exit out of this conversation because Twitch will absolutely ban me. I know for a fucking fact.
Bro, you're literally the golden boy of Twitch. If he did some shit like that, the people at Twitch would take a look. One, you would leave the conversation immediately. The people at Twitch would take a look, realize that you weren't aware that that was going to happen, and then they would, I mean, you realize it's an actual human being that has to hit the suspend button, right? It's not a fucking robot. It's not AI. It's a person who can look at context and judge the situation. So, and you're literally the golden boy of Twitch. So this was such a fucking lie and a cop out.
Okay. Hasan, you literally befriended a terrorist on stream, actual terrorist designated by the US government, and you called him Luffy from One Piece, and you did not get banned. You have spewed the most vile, horrific shit for years on Twitch and did not get banned. Might I remind everyone, the Twitch CEO and the employees wished you a happy birthday, specifically. They did not do that to all the other streamers. They literally suck you off under that table every day. They are perfectly fine with your radical extremist politics. I'm pretty sure you will be fine and won't get banned. And I don't know why he's randomly brought up Destiny. If you didn't know, Destiny is another political streamer. But the thing is, Ethan is not even friends with Destiny. He doesn't even like him or anything. Hasan is just so scared of this Destiny guy that he wakes up every night just peeing his pants in fear. Then Hasan says that he talked to his Twitch rep because he was so scared.
So, no, I already have. I've already talked to my Twitch rep. I did. Shut the fuck up. I did already. I know. They said, no, you will get banned. Do you understand? I suspect that he was initially going to try to get any clip that shows Sam Cedar agreeing with him to be like, see, your ordained designated Jew agrees with me or something along those lines. And then be like, why do you call me pro-Israel? Okay, that's what he thought he was going to be able to get. It didn't happen. So now I assume his second smoking gun is to probably bring up like Destiny or Dan Saltman in it with the hopes that I get banned.
Yeah, so a little bit of context there. Turns out Hasan was actually so scared of this debate. He actually refused to even do it in the first place. He instead asked Sam Cedar to debate Ethan first in his place. And that debate has actually just happened as I'm recording this. So Ethan actually had the balls to debate anyone of Hasan's choice. And he went through with it. And this is a guy that Hasan specifically chose because he thought that Ethan would get owned and destroyed in a debate. But that didn't even happen. They had a pretty mild debate. And it turns out Ethan actually isn't the crazy person that you are portraying to your audience. And he actually thinks that, wow, shocker, war is bad. Innocent people dying is bad. Who would have thought? That's already more than Hasan, the guy that laughs at dead babies and says that women deserve to get R-worded as long as it supports his politics. Now, the question everyone's asking is that Ethan debated the guy that you specifically chose. So to be fair, well, how about you now debate someone that Ethan chooses? Oh, wait, you're a complete coward and you're afraid your audience will finally realize that you're a fraud.
Because if I don't back out of that conversation, I get banned. If I back out of that conversation when that happens, he will go, oh, you ran away from Destiny. You're so scared. You're just like Steven Crowder. And that's the problem. Okay? He is going to try to present it. I'm telling you right now, if he tries to do some shit like that, that means he doesn't want to have a real conversation with me on this issue. That he's going to try to pull some shtick because he knows that he can't have this real conversation with me. I mean, if he puts up Destiny or any other like banned person, I will get banned on Twitch. So yeah, I'm not going to fucking get banned on Twitch just because Ethan wanted to do a troll.
Okay, first off,
this
Twitch
guy's such a fucking coward.
Literally licks your nuts on a daily basis. You could live stream yourself nuking a city and Twitch staff would literally gargle on your nuts. Lick your balls clean, like straight up. So stop pretending that the rules apply to you, all right? We all know that you are completely above any rules on Twitch. And can someone explain to me why he is so afraid of Destiny? Like, I need an update on the Destiny versus Hasan lore because I've seen about 50 clips now of Hasan just losing his mind over Destiny and he keeps bringing it up with someone completely unrelated. I feel like he lives in his head completely rent-free.
Oh, for sure.
And it's so pathetic because politics is your entire life. This is your entire career. You've been doing this for decades and you're still scared to debate people in your sphere. Like, Ethan used to be a commentary YouTuber. He only recently went into politics. So like, I don't know why you're even scared of that guy. Here's what people are saying. Dude, take a breath. Holy shit. Here's a solution. Turn off your Twitch stream during your call if you're so scared of that happening. He's such a liar. Exactly. You can choose to not stream it for once in your goddamn life. Ethan can stream it instead, or Ethan can record it. It's just so funny to see him squirm like this. Now, Aspen Gold also reacted to Hasan trying to back out. Here's what he said.
He banned me. I know for a fucking fact.
Oh, God.
Okay?
You got a day suspension for talking about killing a senator. You think you're going to get banned for having Destiny on for 10 seconds?
Right.
So, no, I already have. I've already talked to my Twitch rep. I did. Shut the fuck up. I did already. I know. They said, no, you will get banned. Do you understand?
I don't know who his Twitch rep is. I have no idea. I can't imagine like Pluto or one of the guys at Twitch telling him that if Destiny is on the stream for 30 seconds while you explain that you have to leave because he's a banned streamer and you can't have banned streamers, I can't imagine them saying, oh yeah, we're going to ban you for that. It sounds like total bullshit.
You know, I am so glad that people are finally seeing what a fraud all these people are. I like how every video we're slowly exposing every single one of these losers. Frogan, Denims, iDubbbz, Hasan, like all of them are just being exposed as completely insane. They're losing everything, destroying their reputations. Their own audiences are turning against them. It's just wonderful. I got a huge smile on my face. Anyways, if you couldn't get more pathetic, Hasan started typing in Ethan's chat. Hasan's messages in the H3 chat post Sam Cedar debate. I can talk now or Friday. I don't care. It's up to you. Please don't try to bring a banned person on because I will get banned and we'll have to leave the conversation. Hey man, since you talked to Sam, I think we could have a more productive convo now. Since you seemingly have enough time to watch clips of me, definitely down to do it Friday though. Peace and love. I love how this clown is like, oh, you have enough time to watch clips of me. Meanwhile, this actual moron refuses to watch any critical video on him and says that I'm not even gonna watch someone so like disingenuous, you know? Ethan should jump scare Hasan with a random MP3 of Destiny. Productive convo. I can see the conversation already. Hasan will just ignore what Ethan would have to say. Now, the thing is, even if this debate happens, there needs to be complete rules of like, you can't interrupt the other person because Hasan is the type of guy to just shout and scream over you so that you can never convey any of your points. Now, Ethan actually responded. Ethan assures Hasan that he will not bring a banned streamer on to Sam Cedar him. Hasan still doesn't believe it.
Hasan is pathetically typing in our chat again.
Wait, what do you mean?
I can talk now or Friday. I don't care. Up to you. Please don't try to bring a banned Bro, don't worry. I'm not doing that. You're afraid I'm going to bring on Destiny? That's stupid. I'm not going to do that. Stop. I promise you, Hasan.
It's not just Destiny. It's
Dan
Dan Saltman as well. He's
In fact,
also
the people
banned.
here will not allow me to bring on Destiny.
No, Dan Saltman either.
Honest.
And it's not because I'm afraid of them. I can't. I will get banned. I need people to understand. This is because I will get banned. If he brings on...
Bro is so scared of Destiny. It's hilarious.
Sam Hyde or Dan Saltman or Destiny, I will get banned instantly, okay? And I didn't even name Destiny in that. The reason why I said don't bring a banned person on was because I don't want him to bring any banned person on and do some shit to try to get me banned, okay?
Okay, so didn't he just straight up lie there? Like classic Hasan rewriting history. You definitely did mention Destiny by name, unless I'm going schizo and somehow heard the word Destiny. Also, I love this. It's not because I'm afraid of them, guys. It's not because I'm a little scaredy cat. It's actually because I don't want to get banned, obviously. Of course, Hasan, we all believe you, you gigantic pussy. But anyways, now we gotta move on to Destiny's response. Lord Voldemort here.
I promise you, Hasan.
It's not just Destiny. It's Dan Solomon as well. He's also banned.
People here.
Why? I like how he's trying to bring up Dan, like, as a way to say that he's not petrified of just me. Like, do you think Dan is going to come on and debate you about Israel-Palestine? What? Because he's Jewish?
Will not allow me to bring on Destiny.
No Dan Solomon either. And it's not because I'm afraid of them. I can't. I will get banned. I need people to understand. This is.
I need you to understand. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid, guys. I will get banned. They told me. I talked to my rep. I talked to me.
Hey, what game is Destiny playing right here? Let me know in the comment section down below.
I can't. He'll ban me. If it even happens for a microsecond. Like, bro, take a deep breath. You're okay.
I'm not too caught up on the lore, but I think Destiny is the one who gave Hasan his career and his like first boost of views. And then they had some sort of falling out or something. Now, as I mentioned before, Hasan actually got to choose Ethan's debate opponent. So out of everybody in the world, he chose Sam Cedar. And this is Hasan's reaction to the debate.
So this is such a petty, like the idea that we're going to police. Hold on, let me respond. You want me to respond to this? Like I said, I don't care about this, but if you're going to force me to respond to it.
I've never seen a man more pathetic. You were so scared of the debate, you got somebody else to debate him for you, and then you sit behind your screen going, oh my god, bro, oh my god! Literally jacking him off through the screen, bro. Have some shame. Wipe the white liquid off your face, dude. Yikes. Now, apparently Hasan has been watching some of the...
I swear, man, some of y'all young niggas be taking this fucking glazing metaphors too far. Like, I mean, I talk about niggas getting glazed and shit like that, but y'all be so descriptive, like wipe that white dripping liquid off your bottom lip. It's like, goddamn, bro, we get it, like.
Videos as well because he's losing his mind that people don't like him now. Hasan, in full cope mode this morning, claimed that he's avoided the drama angle and it cost him a lot charitably with slop tubers. Now the market is flooded with Keemstar orbiters. Here we got some tweets from Hasan. A lot of people fail to realize that it no longer matters if one side has more knowledge or is correct. We are officially in a parasocial haze where stands are consuming politics from the narrow focus of drama. They don't care about the issues, only how it makes their favorite content creator feel. Avoiding the drama angle has most likely cost me a lot of charitability with apolitical slop tuber drama fan bases that comprise a massive chunk of the online politics understanders. Now the market is flooded with Keemstar orbiters whose only foray into politics is F Hasan. All right, I'm glad to know that Hasan is absolutely molding over my videos or maybe some of my friends' videos. I don't know. He's just losing his mind. By the way, he always sits on his high horse like, oh, I'm the politics guy, so you guys wouldn't understand it. You're just people who watch slop tubers. Yeah, I don't think it takes a genius to realize that supporting terrorists and openly praising them is bad, laughing at dead babies is bad, lying about people is bad, harassing people on the internet, sending CPS to their houses is bad, wishing PTSD on veterans is bad.
Right.
These are like normal takes. This is why, despite not being a political creator, I can still talk about you and absolutely clown on you because regular people, you know, people who are not into politics.
That's true. This guy, we've been at this for now almost a couple hours, and he hasn't even given a single political perspective, and neither have I, right? That's just how shitty a person you're being. It's that people can rake in tens of thousands of dollars reacting to you being an absolute jackass without having to give a single political position.
Not completely brainwashed. They just look at these scenarios and are like, okay, this person is kind of like a vile, hatred-spewing piece of shit. So, yeah, you know, I'm not going to be on their side, you know? This part as well, they don't care about the issues, only how it makes their favorite content creator feel. So he's basically saying that you guys don't care about any wars and you're only hating on him because it makes me feel happy. Like, I don't even know what kind of logic this is. This guy's trying to find any way to justify his extremist stances. Also, this Yeet account has attached a screenshot of Hasan covering a bunch of drama as well. So to say that he's not feeding into this is completely disingenuous. I just love how these random quote-unquote slop videos are getting under his skin so much and he's losing his mind over it. Anyways, moving on to iDubbbz's Creator Clash 3 and the absolute failure of the event. Lena has dropped out of Creator Clash 3.
That we announced that Lena will not be participating in Creator Clash either.
Really shitty situation, and boxing is a very serious thing and you need your full concentration. And it was getting to a point that she was just caught in the middle of stuff and I was afraid, and she she was distracted at practice, and there's a lot to it.
Yeah, that's pretty understandable. The event is probably not even happening. The main fighter dropped out, and everybody is making this some radical politics thing. So obviously they wouldn't want to be part of this event. Ethan announces that he'll be reimbursing the 12K Lena and AB spent on training for Creator Class 3. Also talks about how Harley was allegedly paid less than his opponent for the event.
Harley was smart. Apparently he got paid up front.
What? Interesting.
That's fucking insane.
It is insane. That's part of what pissed Harley off, is that he told them from the beginning that he would only do it if everyone was getting paid the same amount. Everyone needs to get paid the same amount, and they agreed. And then he was talking to his opponent, LA Beast, and he was like, oh no, I'm getting paid this much, which is like significantly more than you.
That's horrible.
Yep, not shocked at all that iDubbbz would do some sort of shady, scummy shit there.
But Harley had the foresight to ask for the money up front, which is how it should be when they're asking you to fucking do all of this training. How much did you guys spend?
Hell yeah, bro.
It's pretty much up there. I think we probably spent around $12,000.
So you guys spent $12,000, and like, why should you guys be expected to front the cost for that, for their fucking event? It doesn't make any sense to me. So I will be reimbursing you guys, so don't worry about the money.
W-mans.
Hasan would never.
That's pretty respectable by Ethan, just, you know, reimbursing his employees. But honestly, iDubbbz should just be absolutely embarrassed. Not only did he lose money for charity, but he wasted everybody's time, wasted everybody who was training for the event, wasted their money as well, and now everybody else has to pay for it. Now, people are apparently harassing Lena for even dropping out of the...
Yeah, bro, iDubbbz is finished.
Event. Shame on Lena for backing out of a charity event. Shame on Lena for nobbling a charity. Shame on Lena for ruining her opponent's training. Absolute clout goblin behavior. This is on the H3 Snark subreddit, apparently filled with a bunch of Hasan tards. Anyways, obviously she shouldn't feel bad for dropping out of this event. This is iDubbbz's fault and nobody else's. Now, all the time, Ethan's just having the time of his life after the content cop backfired. Ethan responds to Anissa, 2 highly anticipated fighters drop out. Ticket sales are non-existent. Jake Paul said to fight on the same day. No promotion of the event. No public statement. Meanwhile, the owners. Oh, I have to admit something. I haven't posted a chocolate chip cookie update. They turned out to be ugly. I'm so excited on going a girls trip to Austin next week. I need a refund. Please stop ignoring my emails. Now, quick Asmongold clip, just saying what everybody's been thinking.
Dude, if Ethan does a video with Sam Hyde doing a content cop on Ian or Hasan, probably Ian. This would be absolute cinema. Like, everybody be thinking about this, right? Everybody be talking about this. Is like, yeah, bro, this is the Super Bowl.
Anyways, that's it for the updates. Click this video or you have to watch a...
Dang, wow. The plot thickens, huh? Not looking good for Hasan or iDubbbz. More so iDubbbz than anybody else, for sure. Okay, next, pathetic streamer just got destroyed by the internet. Another Hasan video. Let's dive in.
Okay, massive update to the whole H3H3 versus Hasan group situation. So first off, Hasan's moderator Frogan has just been exposed again for making fun of someone else's appearance after playing victim that people call her horizontally gifted. Hasan is finally debated H3H3 and he got absolutely destroyed. There's like 50 clips of him getting caught lying. It's just embarrassing. Basically got exposed as a complete fraud, hypocrite, and absolute extremist. Even his own followers are in shock that their idol is a complete moron. Then we look at a bunch of reactions to the debate from Asmongold, XUC, Destiny, and the general public. So let's check this out one by one, starting with Frogan. H3 subreddit found an older clip of Frogan trashing another streamer's appearance, Stardust. It's ironic because Hasan and company always emphasize how she's the biggest victim due to people attacking her appearance.
I was a hating ass with ugly eyebrows and no lips coming after you. That's what you have to remember. You look at your haters, and it's an ugly ass with no fucking eyebrows.
You always get back what you put out into the world, man. No one's ever a victim. See, she's just getting back what she is.
Or no lips coming after you.
That's why people make fun of how she looks, because at the end of the day, that's exactly who she is.
Okay, like, I'm sorry you're protecting. I'm sorry you're protecting. Aw.
Ooh, I mean, she's definitely right about the projection part, but I don't really see how she gets to play victim here. Like, oh, people are making fun of me. Meanwhile, you sit here and make fun of someone else's appearance. It's just a bit hypocritical, in my opinion.
Yep.
Anyways, we also got a quick update on Tectone, the streamer who got banned on Twitch for calling Frogan calorically enhanced.
So he did end up getting banned.
Tectone says he heard from a trustworthy source that he's about to be permanently banned from Twitch.
I've been told by an insider that I will be permanently banned from Twitch within the month. And if we do, I'll be streaming on YouTube every day. Not worried about it, man. Not worried about it. So I've officially started counting down. I've been told 31 days and I'll be permanently banned. We will see.
Perma-banning Tectone when people like Hasan, Denims, and Frogan are on your website, literal extremists, terrorist supporters, spouting vile stuff every day. It's just insane levels of hypocrisy. But anyways, let's move on to the main event, H3H3 versus Hasan debate. And I wanted to start off with this clip of Hasan accidentally admitting that he supports terrorists. Hasan tries calling out Ethan for being sponsored by Shopify, only to realize he's also sponsored by Shopify.
So I want to say, first of all, thank you to Shopify for sponsoring us. I also want to thank...
Shopify sponsoring terrorism by way of, well, I guess they sponsor my podcast too, to be fair. So that's not surprising.
Hasan, your stream is live. I don't think you were supposed to admit that you actually support terrorists, but I mean, if your audience was cool with it, I guess sure. Did Hasan just admit to promoting terrorism? Yes, actually. Anyways, let's get to the debate, starting with H2H3 confronting Hasan about iDubbbz's content cop and how he left out the most important context about people calling CPS on Ethan's kids.
You're misrepresenting what I asked you. I didn't ask you, do you think it's okay that people called CPS? I asked that the video that you participated in, which was a total fucking hit job that used 90% of its clip from an episode of the podcast called CPS got called on me and didn't even include the title of the podcast. Now, do you think that's fair?
I think you should take this up with iDubbbz instead of me.
Okay, sure. Ask me a question.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I didn't make any of the editorial decisions in iDubbbz's content cop.
Okay, so Hasan basically says that, oh, it's iDubbbz's fault, not mine. Even though we all know you guys were sitting in a room together, jerking each other off, making this content cop together.
Right.
Hasan, you were literally gargling on his balls, all right, saying, Ian, please.
There's no way Hasan let iDubbbz put that video out without getting to see a draft.
Please include this in the content cop. Now, if you notice, this is a common Hasan tactic. Hey guys, it's actually all my friends who I completely support and endorse who did all this horrible stuff, not me, guys. Then Ethan asks him about the swastika in the content cop picture, and Hasan basically says, well, iDubbbz's fault again. Hasan tries to get Ethan on drawing a swastika 9 years ago in a PewDiePie video. Ethan retorts back, are you gonna tell black people to not use the N-word?
You have that much of an issue with swastikas considering you drew one on PewDiePie.
I'm a Jewish man, you fucking moron.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Is anyone in that room Jewish? Was anyone in that room? Did I draw swastika one time on?
Do you think that Jews have an exclusivity agreement with like being offended or not offended by Nazi imagery?
And by the way, as a Jewish man, are you going to tell black people not to use the N-word?
Do you think this is an apt comparison?
Yes.
Yeah, Hasan the type of guy to just laugh when
you make
any...
That was a good point. That was a good point. And Hasan would never.
Good point. And he does this like repeatedly throughout the video. Whenever he knows he's just completely lost a point, he just lets out a laugh or a sigh or something like that. Or he just takes like this really long pause. And honestly, this is a very fair comparison. Hasan himself called the sword a swastika sword. So it's not like he didn't know. He specifically put it there to dog whistle and to piss off Ethan. Now Ethan talks about the racist tier list that Frogan and friends made on Twitch, ranking people from Arab to Jew.
Ask me after this. You defended Frogan's use of the Sabra tier list. What was your opinion on that?
I think that the Sabra hummus tier list is absolutely insane to consider anti-Semitic.
Let me ask you this, Hasan. Here's Frogan's thumbnail for the Sabra hummus tier list. In the F tier is me and Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro is not in the tier list. He has never explored or used. Why do you think Ben Shapiro is on the F tier?
Ethan?
Whoa, answer the question.
Again.
What, you're dodging?
I'm not iDubbbz.
And obviously Ben Shapiro is at the bottom is because he's Jewish, and this is a straight up race tier list. And I'm just saying, if you swap the races, it is completely insane. Like, imagine it was white people at the top and black people at the bottom. Like, dude, this would be the most racist thing ever. But apparently in Hasan's line of extreme politics, it's okay to be straight up racist, right? Now Ethan proceeds to continue dunking on Hasan, catching him in multiple lies.
He worked with the ADL to make Zionists a protected class on Twitch. Now that is an outright lie.
I don't think it's an outright lie.
I worked with the
took
ADL.
credit over it, didn't you?
Sorry. I worked with the ADL. What does that mean?
Yeah, as in like worked alongside. I don't think you're in the ADL.
Oh, that's what you meant when you said I worked with the ADL. I worked beside them, just incidentally together. You didn't mean that I worked with them privately to get people banned. Of course not. There you go. You choose your words very carefully, Hasan.
Not always. I'm famously.
Okay, we're walking that back. Sometimes I speak out the side of my mouth when I say you work with the ADL. So. Here you are again repeating the lie with Steiny on video.
Partnering with like the ADL and.
Partnering with the ADL. You want to unpack that one there, buddy? I have never spoken to the ADL, so what does that mean?
I'm not saying you directed the ADL
Do you know
to take
how
action.
silly you
Well, actually, you know what? I am kind of saying that. I am implying that you directed the ADL to take action.
Well, that's a defamatory claim that has zero proof.
Yeah, so Hasan is basically like, yeah, I lied. What are you going to do about it? I'm just going to continue lying. Like, what a disgusting person. You just straight up made up a fact and continue lying about it. He never worked with the ADL. That's just crazy that you can say that and get away with it with no consequences. Now Ethan confronts Hasan on his Destiny obsession.
So do you want to tell me what is your evidence that I work with or talk to or have any association with at all with Destiny?
What?
Destiny?
What?
What? The guy that I talk about fucking obsessively 100 times a day that is like basically like the Antichrist, the Lord Voldemort in my community? Yeah, you accuse me of working with him, knowing him, talking to him. What is your evidence for that?
Thank you for asking.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Not only is there video footage of you corresponding with someone in your Discord that literally aligns perfectly with Destiny's own Discord, offering clips for you to pull.
That sounds like a stretch.
You've also used clips that are unlisted called Hasanabi when making arguments about my virulent anti-Semitism from
I pulled a
unlisted link that came from a Destiny fan account.
So that's your proof that I work with Destiny.
Right, so once again, Hasan just makes up a lie because he feels like it. Basically, he wants to taint Ethan's reputation here by associating him with Destiny, because obviously Hasan's community really hates Destiny, so they won't listen to a word he says if they think that they're connected in any way. So Hasan just makes up this lie and gets away with it, refuses to correct the record, even when confronted. I mean, this is so ridiculous. It's like you can say and do anything as long as you have a bunch of mentally ill followers. Then Ethan calls out Hasan's gaslighting.
Your criticisms are in your own mind. Like you have hallucinated an alternative
By the way, gaslighting,
reality.
anti-Semitic trope. This is what dog whistles are. You whistle to other people, and it's subtle enough that you have plausible deniability, so that when you get accused of being anti-Semitic, you can call the accuser crazy, which is exactly what you're doing. You are a anti-Semite, and you've been caught out 3 different times calling me crazy for very viable examples of anti-Semitism that you should at least be able to admit are at least not insane. Maybe a misunderstanding, but not insane. But no, according to you, they're all hallucinations. So go ahead and tell me why you're not dog whistling.
Yes, because people having an issue with your statements.
Oh my god, dude, the way he talks, what a condescending douchebag. And Ethan completely nailed it here. Hasan just uses other people to achieve his goals and then pretends that he has nothing to do with it, right? Like, oh, the people called CPS on Ethan's kids, I completely disavow that, guys. But also, I support the people who did that, and I support Denims, and I support Bad Empanada, who openly contributed to that call and openly harassed Ethan. Now we get to a very disgusting part. I probably can't even show most of this, but Hasan spends like 20 straight minutes denying women's trauma and saying that SA didn't even happen. I've never seen someone this desperately defend terrorists R-wording women. Like, it's just crazy how unhinged this guy is.
What do you mean?
I know exactly what he was planning to do.
You literally
and yet I couldn't do anything to prevent
Wait, pause it for a second.
No, listen to what she has to say, Hasan. Hasan, don't silence her. Let her talk. No, because you're acting like this never happened.
What am I supposed to do in the situation when there are no victims that have come forward?
4 victims just gave first-hand testimony. I read it to you.
Died, but there's no forensic examination.
Pixar didn't
there has
happen.
been no justice for
What do you think the odds are that people are getting massacred by Hamas
on October 7
What do you think
due
the
to the fact
probability
that
is?
the government completely
By the way, Hasan is asking for pics or it didn't happen in a literal war. Hasan, believe it or not, you can't actually go to court in the middle of a war and arrest the people who are essaying women. Like, pause, guys, pause the war for a second. Stop bombing, guys. Stop for a second. We need to get video evidence of SA for Hasan, guys. He literally sees several women speak out about it, and he's no doubt seen the video evidence of it happening online as well. And is like, nah, actually, I like the terrorist. I mean, they call me Hamas Piker for a reason, baby. SA is completely fine as long as it happens to people I disagree with politically. Actually, not even disagree. Ethan actually agrees with like 95% of what Hasan thinks here. So Ethan literally supports Palestine. So this is how Hasan treats you when he disagrees with you like 1%. Anyways, then Hasan tries to guilt trip Ethan, saying that you ruined iDubbbz Creator Clash 3 and charity event, and we made whole videos on that. Obviously, it was not Ethan's fault.
His entire Creator Clash is in ruin. The event is going to be fucking absolutely canceled. He's probably not even able to reimburse most of the fighters for the time they trained. How is that not a train wreck?
Ethan,
I'm just saying.
I am not iDubbbz. I don't care about your petty vendetta against iDubbbz. Play the
video
clip.
How I see Israel. Because you're in the video. When you listen to Hasan and you hear all these fucking...
Yes, you ruined a charity event. I hope you're proud.
Here's the facts. Ethan did not ruin anything. You and your friend group ruined this charity event because you are so extremist and so unlikable that the general public, after seeing this drama online, decided not to support this event.
Yeah, iDubbbz ruined it. He destroyed it. Nobody
use their
else.
time and money elsewhere. It's not Ethan's fault that people realized what a massive scumbag you guys actually are. And if iDubbbz didn't release the content cop and start this whole thing, the event would probably be fine. And honestly, you guys don't have a good track record. I don't imagine it would earn anything anyways because the last one lost $250,000. Now Hasan tries to defend that time when he said he has no problem with a terrorist group.
Don't you think saying you have no issue with Hezbollah makes people think you're pro-terrorist?
I don't care that people think this. It's ridiculous.
So are people valid for thinking you're pro-terrorist?
Do you believe the State Department's designation for
answer the
terrorism is
question.
valid?
Is it reasonable for people to think that you are pro-terrorist when you say I have no problem with Hezbollah?
Do you believe the State Department's designation for terrorism is valid?
You answer my question, and I'll answer yours. Are people valid?
Ethan,
and
you rely heavily on your audience not really understanding the terms that you are using.
Let it be noted you are dodging.
When you say the face
God,
to
bro,
talk
you're
about
doing it
these
again.
issues.
Hasan, actually answer a question challenge. 100% impossible. This absolute idiot cannot answer a single question. This is the most pointless debate, man. Hasan, when confronted on his lies and extremism, just talks about some random other shit, talks over Ethan, refuses to answer the question.
I'm saying your community is responsible for this participating in this harassment campaign. Why did you criticize XQC for not moderating his chat when you called in?
Ethan,
why
I can't believe
did you criticize XQC for not moderating his chat?
My argument with you in that conversation.
I think that Hasan absolutely weaponizes his community.
I can do.
He does it all the time when he tweets negatively at people while he's on stream.
Hasan's chat is like the most toxic place in the universe. You could like make out with a venomous snake and you'd still have less poison than spending a second in that chat. And I feel like he absolutely enables all of the harassment. His insane psychotic community of unemployed losers will do absolutely anything to ruin people's lives that is against Hasan. Now Ethan talks about Bad Empanada, the guy who threatened to kill Ethan's wife in a video game.
Crazy.
Who's like you?
So you do have a problem. You do have a problem with
Matt Lieb specifically. Yes.
That you don't like, and you are. Quick
I have
to
a
call
problem
them
with Matt
capos.
Lieb, who's platforming Bad Empanada. Yes, clearly. Is there? You don't like Bad Empanada. You understand? A year ago, you were talking about how crazy he was.
But I'm not.
But suddenly, when he
here's
starts
the
talking
difference.
about me,
Here's
he's
the
your best
difference,
friend.
Ethan.
Interesting.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I think Bad Empanada is insane. But you know what? I also
And all of a
always
sudden,
say?
you love his videos. Why is that?
Bad Empanada.
Why do you love his videos
this
suddenly?
position, I've
Before
maintained
you
this
pledged never to
position-
watch his videos on stream. Why do you love them now?
Oh, because he was he did not want me reacting to his videos.
That is
Initially,
insane, pathetic,
no,
bold-faced
that's
lie.
what it is. No, he said
You literally told. Oh my God,
I
dude.
have. YouTube essays, especially when it's issue specific, are actually very instructive.
Then why are you watching
very
one's called
informative.
Ethan Klein is a Zionist baby killer? Why are you watching that one? Is that part of his master body of collection? Is that part of the Criterion collection there, buddy?
Once again, Hasan just avoiding all accountability. Like, I watch his videos on stream, I endorse everything he says and does, but actually, guys, he's kind of insane, and I actually don't support him. But I will also promote him if he's shitting on Ethan. Like, how bad faith can you be?
Why does Bad? Okay, it is good. Why does Bad Empanada role play hunting Hila and killing her in video games?
Have I ever said that I think that's appropriate?
I think no, of course not. But what you are doing is endorsing this guy.
The content that I'm consuming from a guy who I do think is doing well-sourced, well-researched YouTube essays, who also happens to be a fucking freak.
Yeah, guys, it just happens that the absolute freak psychopath is on my side, so I will actually promote him, guys. So Hasan here essentially just admits that he will support anyone that is against Ethan and that is with his politics. It doesn't matter if they're terrorists. It doesn't matter if it's people
because it's a fucking cult, dude. You see this all the time. You saw it with Andrew Tate when he became a Muslim, even though Andrew Tate's lifestyle was literally the opposite of Islamic values. Literally every Muslim was on his dick. Of course, that's changed now. But because he was agreeing with the doctrine, the dogma, you can run down. That was just the first example that came to my mind. This is not unique to Islam. They do it in Christianity. They do it in politics. They do it in literally fucking any tribalistic group you can find. It doesn't have to be political. It could be about bullshit. It could be about Pokemon. You are going to see this. You agree with my team, you will be embraced until you criticize someone from my team or criticize, you become a heretic to some great degree.
Human scum like Bad Empanada. As long as Hasan can profit, he will use it and promote it. Actual disgusting clown, but
some of the biggest faces in the religious space right now are some of the most like unholy people. Like they do not at all embody the principles of the religion of the faith. But because they rep the team and they just don't cross certain pivotal key lines, then they will continue to be protected and embraced by the group, which just goes to show that the group is also bullshit.
It gets worse. Hasan makes one of the most insane comparisons you will ever see. He compares a Houthi terrorist pirate to Anne Frank.
You still agree that he's just like Anne Frank?
Did you not hear what I asked you?
I'm just summarizing.
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Anne Frank died before she could resist. But if she did, I would never hold that against her.
Killed in a concentration camp, you psychopath.
But if she
was exterminated with her whole family. Her dad's the only one that survived and recovered her journal. Are you mad?
Either, Ethan, right? Would you hold that against her? Would you hold that against her?
I wouldn't hold it against her, but she wouldn't be the same historical figure that said, despite my family being killed in concentration camp and everyone being murdered, I'm still a pacifist that sees the good in people. What's so confusing about that? Not kill Zionists, not nuke Israel, not a pike through Zionist assholes.
I can't believe we're once again discussing the posts of a dude in Yemen.
You
who
really
is
like to do that.
years old.
Yeah, it's just a guy from Yemen, guys. A guy who bombs ships and kidnaps people that are unrelated to the war. Just a guy, guys. You know, Luffy from One Piece that threatens to impale people on Twitter. Says death to all J, death to America. You know, just definitely a guy that's not a terrorist, guys. He's actually a victim. He's actually Anne Frank. Give this guy the Nobel Peace Prize, actually. He's resisting against the oppressive force. Don't you understand? Now, this next part is absolute gold. Ethan basically just confronts Hasan on his claim that Hila should have just gone to prison instead of enlisting in the army in mandatory service.
Hasan, you say that Hila could have gone to jail and done a conscientious objection instead of joining the army. Why do you pay taxes?
What?
Why do you pay taxes to the United States
This
government?
is your big argument, Ethan?
Answer the question.
That I pay taxes and I'm morally culpable? I know. That's why I try to
Why don't
fight
you go to
against this
jail?
goddamn government
Well,
doing
why
this
don't you
shit
stand
every
up for
day.
your, hold on, why don't you stand up for your principles and go to jail for it?
Because it would not actually stop, okay? It would not actually stop.
Yeah, kind of like Hila refusing to do mandatory service at age 18 and not going to jail for it will not change anything about what the IDF does. You absolute freaking moron.
Yeah. I mean, bro, if you are sucked into this world, it doesn't matter what side you are on. Please stop wasting your fucking life being invested in this shit. If this does not show you that these people are all just full of shit and are just raking in money, using your attention, caring about fucking pointless shit that they don't even believe in or practice, when push comes to shove, I don't know what will, man.
So let me get this straight. Hasan wants other people to go to jail to fight for some cause, but he won't actually do it himself, you know? So obviously Hasan hates America, hates the government, hates that they're funding this war and stuff, but he still pays taxes. Fight for what you believe in, Hasan. What the hell? If you're really noble, you'll stop paying taxes and actually go to jail. Oh wait, it's actually not that easy, you absolute flippin' bubblehead. Now finally Hasan realizes that he's completely lost the debate, and he does the classic Hasan tactic, screams and calls the other person racist. Hasan crashes out and does his classic bit, you freaking racist piece of shit.
By that, we did not leave Iraq because we were Zionists. We left because we were no longer safe.
Iraqis are not Palestinian. You fucking moron. You racist piece of shit.
What?
Because Iraq and the pan-Arabic nationalist movements that arise out of
Yeah. The screaming, that's a bad sign. The screaming and the yelling, that's a sign you're losing.
Fine.
It's not about Palestinians.
Okay, so what did the Jews in Iraq have to do with Israel? You bigot. You are so out of your mind.
Oh my god, dude, this is wonderful. Like, I love this. I love seeing Hasan just lose his mind. I've never seen someone melt down this much. The second he realized that Ethan completely destroyed him, you know, everybody is against him, everybody's realizing he's being exposed as a fraud, he's like, Ethan, you racist piece of... I mean, it is just sad, man. Grown man in your 30s behaving like this. Yikes. Now, this next part, Ethan makes a very good point. He says you need to be empathetic towards all human beings. If you dehumanize people, you end up being extremists like Hasan.
He would laugh at you.
Failure
Do you not understand?
to acknowledge the trauma of both groups is the reason why you are a radical fucking propagandist liar. Both trauma needs to be acknowledged by both groups. There's two things that need to be true for this ever to be resolved peacefully.
You're right.
Palestinian self-determination and the Israelis' right to have secure borders. As long as you ignore that, there will always be war. Palestinians will always die, and you will continue to make money from it.
Yep, that's basically what I've been saying this entire time. Hasan and his friend group do not care about the Palestinian cause or the war at all. They just want to extract more money from their viewers. If you're a Hasan viewer watching this, he is absolutely playing you like a fiddle. And I hope to God one day you will actually...
Anybody who is in any kind of us versus them tribe, you're being played.
See it. This guy sits in his $3 million mansion pretending to care about all these causes. Meanwhile, he buys a Porsche while you remain broke and angry, and he weaponizes you. He uses your anger, uses you as an attack vehicle to do horrific things. It's just sad, man. I feel like you should not be manipulated, you know?
Always remember, Hasan, that when people criticize me, I watched it on my stream by myself live, unlike a made coward like yourself who needs someone to hold your hand, make all the excuses in the world to avoid any single criticism, any response. You, my friend, are a coward, and I am the fucking legend that responded to it live with zero hesitation. But you know why? Because I'm not a liar. I don't have to think about the shit that I say and justify it. You lie. That's why you can't do it, because you'll get caught in those lies.
This was the worst day in Hasan's life. I don't think he ever expected to get this absolutely destroyed. I don't think he'll ever debate anyone ever again. And now I kind of see why he was so desperate and coming up with any excuse to avoid this debate. Now, somebody also caught that Twitch staff was simping in Hasan's chat during the debate. Like, Ethan is being so freaking disingenuous. How long has this been going on now? Hey, Tectone, maybe this guy banned you. Could be. And this just shows how biased Twitch actually is. Now, as for who won the debate, Asmongold's chat is saying Ethan, and pretty much the entire internet is saying Ethan, unless you're a radical Hasan viewer, obviously.
But I think that overall, I think Ethan did come out on top with this debate, and I think that he did look better. And I think that especially with like a lot of the clips and the things that Hasan ended up saying, like, for example, I mean, Hasan basically said that it's acceptable and okay to target innocent civilian ships and then take those civilians hostage, and it's a means of negotiation or some type of pressure. Now, in my opinion, I mean, you're basically endorsing a terrorist organization at that point. I mean, this is terrorism. I mean, if you look at the definition of it, that is terrorism. And so I don't know what's going to happen with that. Should Hasan be banned for that? I think that if you make a liberal reading of the TOS, it's undeniable that that would be the case.
I mean, let's be honest, Hasan is never getting any actual consequences on Twitch. The only thing he will be getting is a hand job from the Twitch moderators.
Like, anybody who watched that debate and thought that Hasan didn't look like a moron and didn't look bad, you've been completely ideologically captured. But I've never seen somebody play more defense for in my life. Never in my life. It was impressive.
Isn't Hasan supposed to be on the believe all women side? Like, what happened to that? Anyways, after this, Hasan reacts to the aftermath and everyone thinking he lost the debate, and he just melts down.
But 100% Ethan was more grounded and you were rambling. 26 month subscriber. Bro, this is literally the profile of a type of person that is the Ethan Klein head. So in the upcoming days, you will see an endless sea of brigaders who are like, Ethan was so calm and kept his composure the entire time. And my Twitch chat will absolutely be brigaded to oblivion with people going, he was so intelligent. You got owned, little bro.
That's right. Everyone who thinks I lost the debate, they're all brigaders. They're all haters. They're just these random hateful people. Whatever helps you sleep at night, man. Anyways, here's XQC's reaction.
Gotta keep the diehard cult members under the illusion.
Hasan's chat is a absolute one-sided war zone. The shit that people type in that mother sucker's box is awful. Almost everything that people are very strong about, opinions about, if you were to reverse the roles on any of these topics, if they would be permanent, not in his chat, on the platform, you reverse these takes, you replace the, let's say it's Jewish or whatever with another component, any other component, they would get banned off the platform legitimately.
Hasan, I think, got massively exposed. No offense to Ethan, but this is a guy who does a comedy podcast or whatever versus Hasan who does politics for 12 hours a day.
And he just gets destroyed by Ethan on
He should
political
be
knowledge.
able to run circles. He should have like 3 facts for every single random thing. Hasan didn't know anything.
Now click this video or you have to go on a date with Frogan.
Yeah, man, it was pretty bad from what I've seen right there. Tough. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're down to the last video. We have made it to the end. The iDubbbz situation got much worse. This video, I think, came out today.
You were triggered.
Yeah, yesterday, actually. So let's go ahead and check this out.
By the CPS harassment thing.
Okay, iDubbbz has just dropped a content deputy video on H3H3, and this might be the single worst video iDubbbz has ever uploaded. He really did shave off half his brain cells with that haircut. Modern day iDubbbz kind of feels like what happens to you after Dementors from Harry Potter suck the happiness out of you for like 24 hours straight. But anyways, I kind of expected iDubbbz to actually take some of the criticism from the internet from his last content cop video, you know, since he learned empathy at the age of 30. But no, instead he doubles down. He implies that Ethan deserved to have CPS called on his kids over an internet argument. He says how it was perfectly fine to leave out that context in the main content cop video and literally manipulate millions of people. He also blames Ethan for ruining their charity event when it was literally iDubbbz's fault for posting the content cop in the first place. He says that Ethan was triggered by the CPS call, which is probably one of the most insane things I've ever heard in my life. But yeah, let's just check this video out, see what he's saying.
I was hoping that if I made a video about Ethan, he would act like an adult and he would keep the attacks directed at me and Anissa. Unfortunately, I was wrong in thinking that because Ethan, in a desperate attempt to attack and smear Anissa and I, he started attacking our charity event.
I don't know if you know this, but the last year they lost $250,000. To be charitable, you actually have to give money to charity.
Yeah, iDubbbz just doesn't like people pointing out that he mismanaged the funds in a charity event and lost $250,000. He doesn't actually like people mentioning that he literally threw a gala/party with money that was supposed to be going to charity. And of course, he doesn't like people mentioning that he did a bunch of extra expenses for no reason and essentially ruined the charity event. And as I've said in the past, convincing people that the event would generate money for charity when it didn't is borderline scammy. And in my opinion, if you ever fail a charity event of this scale, you should never be allowed to host one ever again because you just can't be trusted. So no, I don't blame Ethan for criticizing your charity event because the last one you royally messed it up. Also, he talks about how Ethan should act like an adult when you were the guy doing the Fortnite L dance in your video saying, "Wake up, Ethan." Weren't you the guy who also literally contacted some random dude to change Ethan's apology grading to a lower number because you didn't think his apology was good enough? Sounds pretty childish to me. Now, this next part, iDubbbz for some reason thinks that the internet is on his side.
He's highlighting this post that equates Creator Clash to a crypto rug pull. He's saying the event is going to be worse than TanaCon. Can't wait for them to blame us for their failed event. Don't worry, Hila. I'm not going to blame you guys for anything Creator Clash related. I know you're terrified of taking accountability for anything, so that will rest solely on my shoulders.
That's ironic.
But I can't speak for the internet. The internet might actually blame you guys for it.
Hey, dumbass, it's me, the internet. We don't blame Ethan for the event's failure. We actually blame you, iDubbbz. We blame you and your group of disgusting goons that relentlessly harass and bully people. And when people finally give you a taste of your own medicine, you play victim and cry to the internet hoping they'll forgive you. People are sick of listening to hypocrites hypocritical skinwalkers such as yourself? And how can you talk about taking accountability when you literally just blame the failure of your event on Ethan? You were the one who made the content cop out of the blue, unprompted. You were the one who decided to partner with Hasan, Denims, and Frogan. You knew these people were very controversial and very hated, and you did it anyways, and you ruined the charity event again. Actually feel some shame, man. This is just sad. Then iDubbbz says that he's stepping away from Creator Clash, and how convenient is that? You step away when the event is crashing and burning and remove your name off of it.
Now, with this recent revelation that people are just going to use Creator Clash to attack Anissa and I have decided to step away from Creator Clash. We have relinquished control to our business partners who ran the previous two events. They're very capable. They know exactly what they're doing. They run events on a regular basis. The event is still happening. Anissa and I just don't have any financial ties. We don't have any ownership. We are, you know, I think just going to be known as the founders of the event. I can't keep my mouth shut. I can't, I mean, I can. I just didn't want to. I want to be frank. I want to be honest. You're going to talk shit like a foul beast on the internet, or you're going to have a charity event. You know, it really can't be both.
So you just admitted that it is your...
Well, not true. Not true.
fault that the event failed. You couldn't keep your mouth shut. You decided to attack and pick a fight with Ethan, and that's why the event is crashing and burning and all the main fighters are pulling out. You decided to get political and you partnered with a bunch of extremists. I mean, what did you expect was going to happen? You think people will just accept your terrorist-supporting, grapes-denying friend? People actually have standards, and they probably want charity done by actual good people who they can trust. And I just love how this weasel is pulling out now after ruining everything and acting like he's doing something noble here. It's literally the least you could do after tanking a charity event, bro. And don't worry, people are not going to forget. You wanted everyone to forget about Creator Clash 2 and how you lost so much money? Well, you just refreshed everybody's memory.
It's still happening, June 28th. I'm just not going to be involved in it. Please, for the love of God.
Yeah, you know, I think I remember hearing about Creator Clash 2 and it losing money or it not going well, but either I forgot completely or didn't really know exactly what happened, and now I for sure know that iDubbbz lost exactly 200 or approximately upwards of $250,000, and that people didn't get paid and charities didn't get any money, and I wouldn't have known that if it wasn't for this. So again, what you resist persists.
Support this event. You know, I feel like in some ways I'm like cutting off an arm so that I could escape the bear trap.
Wow, iDubbbz, you're so noble. You're sacrificing yourself here. Is that available in your course on empathy at the age of 30? Listen, I honestly do not trust a single word this guy says. Him and his group of snake friends have been caught lying so many times that I can't trust that you somehow don't have some sort of stake in this, all right? Maybe he's being honest, but judging by the way he treats his former best friend and completely lies about him and smears him, how do I know that he's not snaking us too? That he doesn't have some sort of a hidden stake in this event? I'd much rather someone else put on a charity event and everyone go support that. Literally anyone but iDubbbz. Now, iDubbbz talks about how he's so offended that people call him and his friends anti-Semitic.
I think the worst criticisms I labeled at Ethan is that he's a bad boss, a tyrant of a boss. I just implied that he was being taken advantage of by people either in his community or outside of his community, and I called him a bitch-made coward. Before Ethan even knew what my video was about, he was already framing me as anti-Semitic.
But he's like, no, actually, Ethan, the fucking Jew bag. This Jew bag Zionist baby killer, guys, right?
I mean, was he wrong? If your company is literally these guys, I will also assume that you are anti-Semitic. I'm kind of tired of pretending that these guys aren't overtly racist. You disgusting freaks have taken this war in the Middle East, and instead of actually trying to support any victims or have any form of reasonable debate, you have used it to promote your own career, make more money off your audience, harass people that barely disagree with you. Ethan is openly pro-Palestine, and you still treat him like dirt. How can anybody support you when you endorse the CPS call to his kids, you endorse these racist tier lists, you endorse and partner with someone like Hasan who laughs at dead babies, calls them settlers, literally threatens to kill US senators, denies SA, denies grapes happening? For once in your life, stop fucking using this war as an excuse, all right? How does people dying on the other side of the world make it okay for your privileged dumbass in America to do horrible shit? What kind of stupid logic is this? You're not fooling anyone with your fake activist BS. You want to know the bitter truth? Palestinians probably hate your guts for completely hijacking the movement and misrepresenting them and making them look horrible. You, Hasan, Denims, and Frogan have probably turned more people away from the cause than anybody on the internet. Then iDubbbz talks about the CPS call.
You were triggered by the CPS harassment thing, and then you immediately equated Anissa and I to it. That was sloppy, and that was horrendous, and it was horrendous for us.
Oh my god, Ethan, you're such a snowflake. Did you get triggered by the CPS call, Ethan? Oh my god,
that's
you're
insane,
such a little
man.
whiny snowflake. Hey, Ethan, I know that people literally called CPS on your kids and did the most insane harassment you have ever experienced in your 10 years on YouTube, sent you human skulls in the mail, which may or may not imply your 2 kids. But me, iDubbbz, I'm actually friends with the guys who support that, actually. I totally approve, actually. I can't believe you'd be triggered by that, Ethan. Why would you be triggered triggered that people came after your children. Are you like a protective father or something? What? Dude, what am I watching? I don't even like Ethan. I think politics is very cringe and it makes people very stupid, but I'm so angry for him and the people he's dealing with. These are some of the most unreasonable D-bags I've ever seen on the internet. iDubbbz, if you're watching this, you are not behaving normally. This is completely insane sociopathic behavior. I don't know if this is your wife controlling you or you acting on your free will or your friends puppeting you, but this is beyond pathetic, man. You need to get some serious help. And I don't think you have the room to lecture anybody about anything after you reduced a CPS call to Ethan getting triggered. I mean, you've pretty much lost the respect of every single person in the commentary community. You used to be so respected, and now you're just like another lobotomized Hasan fan. Anyways, now iDubbbz says the line. He says he was just being empathetic, guys. This was all a show of his empathy.
What's very insane about this content cop is I was thinking about Ethan's feelings so much in that video. I thought about the idea of like how I shouldn't be saying the term Zionist or Zionism in that video, because I was like, he has explained before that that's personally insulting to him and he doesn't like that. You know, regardless of how true it is, I was like, I'm going to think about Ethan's feelings and not mention this. Fast forward to him reacting to my video, he's just outright calling me a fucking Nazi.
Is it a coincidence that Ian really shaved his head just before doing this video and he's holding a swastika one? I mean, we can free Palestine without being a Nazi.
I mean, don't you guys literally call Ethan racist 24/7? Literally yesterday in the H3H3 Hasan debate, Hasan is screaming at Ethan, losing his mind, calling him a racist piece of shit.
You fucking moron! You racist piece of shit!
Oh wow, apparently it's not fun when people do it back to you, huh? And honestly, I don't blame Ethan for thinking this. The way you guys act, it's like you're the modern day cringe internet version of Nazis. Also, I love this empathy shtick he's got going on. I was thinking of Ethan, guys. I'm just such a nice guy. You guys just don't understand. iDubbbz was being empathetic in that video when he was lying to 7 million people and smearing his name and leaving out context and manipulating people and bringing together his worst enemies and flipping him off. That was empathetic, man. The amount of insane gaslighting. My brain is exploding and I'm not even Ethan, bro. He probably popped a blood vessel watching this.
I'm done being nice to Ethan. I gave it a chance. My sincerity and my empathy in that last video was real. I was even equating to him having crash out moments in the same way that Denims could have crash out moments. I think we're all capable of it.
That was nice. That was you being nice. You making a hit piece video trying to ruin his life and career was nice. With friends like these, who honestly needs enemies? Also, Denims is another insane psychopath that this actual lobotomite can't stop promoting. Have you guys seen that show Severance, by the way? I feel like the real iDubbbz is trapped at home or something, and we have this other version of iDubbbz whose brain is just infested with maggots. I'm just so confused what actually happened to the old iDubbbz. We might actually be in an episode of Severance. Then iDubbbz...
Well, we already talked about that. What happened, right?
Like the most manipulative shit I've ever seen and somehow tries to justify the CPS call and says that it had nothing to do with the video.
The main criticism that I was seeing online with my video from Ethan and Hila is that I didn't mention the CPS call.
There's really just one central point that I want to make here. My good friend Ian, in his hour-long takedown, did not mention one time Child Protective Services.
I wonder why I wouldn't mention the CPS call. Could it be that the CPS call happened the same day that you were shit-talking me? And I didn't have any chance to defend myself. You just immediately, in the same podcast, right next to each other, said, CPS call was very traumatic. And then you said, Ian and Anissa. And you linked those together, you kind of layered those flavors, and then Anissa and I got a bunch of harassment. We had nothing to do with the CPS call. What are all these fucking comments on your Reddit saying, like, it happened because of the CPS call?
Ethan was talking about you not mentioning the CPS call in your content cop video, the one you uploaded 2 weeks ago. I don't even know what the hell you're talking about here. You talked about Ethan crashing out the entire video and didn't mention that he's understandably rattled because CPS was called on his kids. Also, did you guys notice he's doing the exact same shit Hasan is doing? I had nothing to do with the CPS call, guys, but also I have no problem with it, and I'm best friends with Hasan, Denims, Frogan, and Bad Empanada, and everybody who led to the CPS call, actually. And then later he even says Ethan deserved the CPS call. So let's not act like you don't completely agree with the call, you absolute gaslighting motherflipper. Then iDubbbz proceeds to defend Denims. I mean, he's so far gone.
Is on her platform right now advocating for our children to be forcibly removed from us by Child Protective Services.
The problem with the CPS thing is that Ethan has proven to be a manipulative piece of shit. So when he calls on me to defend him, what the am I meant to do?
Ah yes, Denims did not condone the CPS call, guys. iDubbbz, can you please plug your brain back into your socket there? Can you look at her actions rather than what she says? She was literally on stream talking about Ethan's kids eating dog shit days before the CPS call.
Why does it have to be anyone else's fault but your own? Take some fucking responsibility. It's just so bizarre that Ethan would expect Anissa and I to make a statement when Denims...
That's fucking rich, dude. Starts off the video crying about how Ethan essentially destroyed his charity event. And, you know, fucking he wants to blame Ethan. Now, of course, we know that at the highest level, you always get what you deserve. So, yeah, all the parties involved are getting exactly what they deserve. They're reaping what they have sown. But it's just rich at this more superficial surface level for this guy to be, like, so hypocritically wagging the finger at Ethan saying take some responsibility when none of them take responsibility. And that's the thing. You can't give even an inch to the other side.
Herself already made a statement about it and said that she does not condone calling CPS.
So we're talking about CPS. 1, I don't condone. 2, I've never condoned it, and you will not be able to find a clip of me saying, yes, we should do this, because it doesn't exist. I've literally given Ethan Klein credit on multiple times or multiple instances, and I will do it again right now, for not showing photos of his kids.
Wasn't Denims the person who said it doesn't matter if you call CPS because kids don't form memories at the age of 3, and they actually can't have any trauma at the age of 3? And then didn't she directly read evidence that contradicts what she said and still said that, oh, kids still can't form memories at the age of 3? iDubbbz is doing this thing where he will believe every word that any of his friends ever say without looking at their actions. And people like Denims will always gaslight you like this, say they care about you while actively stabbing you in the back. Hasan does the same shit, and so do you, iDubbbz. When you say something, I don't freaking believe it because I look at your actions. You probably say shit like, I don't condone harassment on Ethan. I care about Ethan. I have empathy. Meanwhile, you make this video trying to ruin his life and partner with people who want his kids taken away. Your actions reveal your true character. Never trust people's words. Then iDubbbz tries to pretend that he was never good friends with Ethan.
Ethan acts like we're such great friends and that like he shared such intimate moments with me, but it's all horseshit. He's lying. Like the whole thing is a lie. He's manipulating his audience. We did not have a close relationship.
You guys were buddies for a long time. He texted me like one time, like, hey, dude, we should talk this out. And I was like, I don't feel like having this conversation right now. That's it. So Ian kept trying to get me on the phone or text with me. And I told him, dude, honestly, I don't feel like having this conversation right now.
Okay.
Fair, right? I just didn't want to do it. Okay?
Just in that particular moment, and then or like at all?
Well, it turns out I didn't want to talk to him at all.
Okay.
If the relationship was that close, you would have talked to me on the phone.
Hasn't iDubbbz referred to Ethan as his best friend and collabed in multiple videos across the years, appeared on podcasts together, had a good time together, invited him in his home as well, explicitly stated that they were good friends? iDubbbz trying his absolute best to rewrite history here. And of course, Ethan doesn't want to talk to you now. Now, obviously, you guys are not friends. Now, obviously, he doesn't like you. In any recent events, obviously, he doesn't like you and he would hate your guts. So, no, you don't deserve a second chance. And just because he didn't talk to you doesn't mean you weren't friends in the past. And honestly, if you were like my best friend ever and you pulled the shit you did to Ethan, I'm sorry, I'm not talking to you either. You are no longer a friend. I'm just gonna assume you got kidnapped by aliens and turned into somebody else. You're a pathetic husk of a man controlled by his OnlyFans wife and scummy political reject friends. Tough. Nobody respects you.
I'm sure there's anti-Semitic people that are attacking you guys, but they're not me. They're not Anissa. It's not Hasan. It's not all these other creators that you're attacking.
Yeah, that's just a lie. It is exactly those people. If you look at what Hasan says and don't think he's anti-Semitic, you have completely lost your mind. Hasan has literally gone on stream and said that you should not yield when talking about supporting Hamas. Not Palestine. He's talking about the terrorist group that literally kills Palestinians when they protest. The terrorist group, whose entire foundation lies on the fact that they want death to all Jays.
Come to you and say, oh, I guess you love Hamas then. And in that moment, you can't fucking yield, okay?
Hasan has also said that if you've ever had any positive feelings about the state of Israel ever in your entire life ever, you should be treated like a neo-Nazi, ran off the streets, and not even be able to be the local dog walker. So he's not talking about now. He's talking about ever in your life ever, which is basically every Jew. So that is like straight up anti-Semitic, bro.
You shouldn't even let someone be the fucking local dog catcher as Felix was posting if they've ever exhibited any sort of positive feelings about the state of Israel. I'm so serious about this.
I hope you enjoy partnering with literally the most radical nutjob on the internet, who actually just said on stream today that he's afraid that he's going to go to jail because of his open terrorist support.
They support Hamas, a
I might literally be.
So where the fuck should the Jews go, man? Honestly, these people who are against the state of Israel, and again, I'm not political. I'm just from a logical point of view. All right, you hate the idea of the state of Israel, but you don't want them here. You demonize them here. You buy into all of these fucking conspiracies that they are essentially the source of all evil in America. And I imagine you wouldn't want that. You wouldn't wish that upon any other nation, because people who hold this position, they say shit like, oh, well, they've been kicked out of all these countries, and so nobody wants them anywhere. So you don't want them here. You don't want them to have their own nation. So what the fuck do you want to do? And this is, I've posed this question in the past to people on Twitter. What exactly then is your solution? Because I don't see how you taking this anti-Jewish, anti-Israel position has, you're just complaining and bitching and demonizing these people, encouraging hatred for these people. All right, cool. So what do you want to do then? How do you want to fix this? How is your solution not ultimately just going to be we need to get rid of them? Not just pull a Hitler. Just logically, what else? You don't want them to have you know, Israel. You don't want them to have their nation, and you don't want them to be here. So what do you want them to do? You'd fucking disappear, right? How are you going to do that? Yeah, man, it's ridiculous. But caring about this shit at all is ridiculous. Don't waste your time even thinking about this shit, bro. It's fucking just a distraction.
Going to jail
on their hands.
Then he defends Frogan for some reason.
You're not the biggest victim on the internet, Ethan. There are a lot of people that you've just bullied and they have nothing to gain out of it. Frogan isn't making a bag from this. She's not getting content out of this. You're attacking her in relentless ways and endorsing so much worse harassment than what even you send her way.
Yes, calling someone circumferentially blessed is the same as having CPS called on your kids. Good job, iDubbbz. You learned empathy. Congratulations. Now, iDubbbz also tries to say that the dislikes on the video are fake and conveniently gives no screenshots.
Because I know that a lot of these they love their dislike button extensions. And I saw that shit and I was like, what the f? These are all like fabricated numbers. The like-dislike ratio was like 80-20 on my video, and then they tried to create a narrative of like, no, people actually hate this content cop, guys. It's actually so much worse.
Yeah, so then, yeah, put up the picture.
Like people were more upset with like my wife being on OnlyFans.
Yes, let's show a screenshot of the dislikes on a video from 5 years ago, but not the dislikes of the current video. And you can just kind of read the comments here. My favorite line in the video is that he claims that the CPS call happened the same day he was making the video, so he didn't reference it. Meanwhile, he references a video that has the title clearly in it, indicating the CPS incident. If you're gonna lie, can you at least try? Damn. I love that Onisa's husband is allowed to post on her channel. I'm sure the Palestinians are extremely invested in this. I've discovered empathy. I've heard of psychopaths with more empathy than you. Now click this video or you become a...
Yeah, man, so that's where we currently are, and iDubbbz is, at the moment, completely destroyed. Hasan, I think Hasan is going to be Hasan. I don't think this is going to do anything particularly to his career or trajectory. I just don't get that vibe from it. And H3, well, he's on a win. He's winning right now off of this situation. But if he continues to operate in this space of negativity, it is only a matter of time before shit will be bad for him yet again. So hopefully he takes this as an opportunity to come out of that and just, you know, dial in on some positivity. But hey, is what it is. At the end of the day, I don't care, and neither should you. But nonetheless, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. If you actually made it to the very end of this video, you are an incredibly special and unique kind of person. I want you to comment. Let's come up with a code word. Don't say anything else. Just comment honey. It's just a random thing on the screen. Comment honey. If you made it to this section of the video, I will only, well, I don't know. Actually, I'm not going to give you anything but my love and appreciation and undying affection. Thank you for watching. Like the video. Peace out.